Yeah. The fact that I came back, it's a relief. I walked away because I take care of the higher ups asked me. Instead of fighting with that. Which clubs? Sometimes they're not that well. I went to the meeting.
Right in the front
They
there.
have a rule.
I mean, you gotta think it out.
Meeting is president. That's Robert Smith. And they have found by the Democratic Party. That's right.
I'm good.
Yeah. Sorry for blocking. Sorry, man. They take up a lot of room. You want a lifesavers or something?
One of the years.
You want a lifesaver, Todd, or something?
Appreciate it, though. Good evening, everybody. Nice crowd tonight. Thank you all for coming out. Welcome to the regular city commission meeting for the city of Deerfield Beach on Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Hudak,
Here.
Commissioner Plout,
Here.
Commissioner Shinetsky,
Here.
Vice Mayor Preston,
Here.
Mayor Drosky.
Here. If everyone would please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, tonight to be led by our city attorney, Anthony Soroka.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item this evening is approval of our city commission meeting minutes from January 6, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion approved by Commissioner Plout, seconded by Commissioner Hudak. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Let the record show unanimous consent. Next, we have acknowledgement of our city board minutes for the Municipal Firefighters Pension Fund meeting of October 13, 2025, the Community Appearance Board meeting of November 25th, 2025, and the Charter Review Board meeting of December 18, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Commissioner Hudak, seconded by Vice Mayor Preston. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Let the record show unanimous consent. Next is approval of our agenda for this evening, February 3rd, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Vice Mayor Preston, seconded by Commissioner Hudak. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Let the record show unanimous consent. Madam Clerk?
For those attending via Zoom online wishing to speak under public comment on an item that's open for public input, please click raise hand at the bottom under the reactions tab, and your audio will be unmuted when you are recognized by Mayor Drosky. For those attending via Zoom by telephone, please press *9 to raise your hand, and your audio will be unmuted when you are recognized by Mayor Drosky. Please make sure your audio is unmuted on your end by pressing *6. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 1 will be handled by Vice Mayor Preston, but Mr. City Attorney, you want to read the title into the clerk, please?
Sure. Item number 1 is a certificate of appreciation presented to Maria Bergstein for her exceptional generosity and dedication to serving children and families throughout South Florida.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Good afternoon, all. It is my pleasure to present this to Maria Bergstein and her husband. She is a very special person that lives in our city limits. We are very blessed to have her in our city. She has a nonprofit, and during the Christmas holidays, she just works tirelessly to bring joy to so many families, children that would not normally have a good Christmas. And she's completely dedicated and passionate about that. She's brought so much joy to so many people. When I went over to look at the toys, it looked like I was in Toys R Us or something like that. It was just unbelievable. And she just has such a passion to bring joy and to do a good job for the city that she lives in. We are blessed to have people like that in our city, and we hope that we can keep that going. And in fact, I'm going to ask Mr. City Manager if you will have someone from staff speak to her, because I want whatever she can do in our city to partner with us to be able to do some things. I'd like to see that done. So if we can do that, have someone from our staff speak with her. But I want to have Maria tell you a little bit about her nonprofit. Thank you. Maria, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maria Bergstein. I moved here to Deerfield Beach in 2017. A few years ago, for years and years, I've been donating my time and donating my money towards helping out nonprofits. A little over a year ago, I was in the middle of doing a back to school drive in our own home. My husband came home later on that evening and said, "You're just going to start your own nonprofit. Go run with it." So I needed to come up with a name that incorporated my family. So Friends of Sammy was created. People will ask me, who is Sammy? Sammy is our beloved dog. If any of you have ever had a pet, you know that dogs give you, or pets give out unconditional love, joy, and happiness. I want to incorporate my nonprofit into the city to spread that joy, the unconditional love within the community as well. Unfortunately, over the weekend, Sammy passed. He would have been 18 years old on Sunday. 18 years, okay? So one of the many things that Friends of Sammy was able to do last year for back to school, I helped sponsor 12 different schools. That included back to school supplies for the children, teachers' supplies. Teachers are very important for our education. I also provided the backpacks and brand new books. When you meet me, this is what I'm going to say to you. I am not here trying to reinvent the wheel, and I am not here trying to save the world. What I am doing is helping the community, what's happening in front of me. And if I could help, I will do that. I want children and families to know that there is good people out there that do care within our city. And I want to acknowledge the panel, the mayor, and the other commissioners. In December, I did send out a mass email for my toy drive. I just want to say to all of you, Ben, you were there. Thank you so much. To the mayor and the other commissioners, you personally picked up the phone and called me. You could have ignored my email, and you didn't even you could have had a clerk call me to say, "Maria, I'm not coming." But instead, and I want the people to know that each one of you called me personally and said, "Maria, thank you for the invite. I'm sorry I'm not able to make it due to work restrictions." Very understandable. But I just want you to know that they do care about the little people like me within the community. And I just want to say thank you so much for your support. And Friends of Sammy is going to keep continuing doing the great work that I am able to do. Thank you so much for this recognition and acknowledgement of my nonprofit, Friends of Sammy. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Let's also give a big cheer for Sammy too on his passing for for that. So thank you very much, Maria, for being here. Vice Mayor number 2, but first, Mr. City Attorney.
Item number 2 is a certificate of recognition presented to Jarvis Brunson for his outstanding efforts and commitment to the Stanley Terrace Community Garden.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. So very often in our community, there are people that really step up to make a difference with kids, becoming creative, using their imagination. What can we do and point kids in the right direction? I was invited over to the ribbon cutting over at Stanley Terrace for a community garden. And, these kinds of things you do quite often. And sometime, even with us that do it all the time, it can lose its importance. And then you are reminded how important it is. And Jarvis Bronson, reminded me that people like him are truly making a difference in the community, taking his time to point kids in the right direction, making them understand that through their own imagination, through their own work, they can create something good. And so that community garden over at Stanley Terrace was the brain trust of Mr. Jarvis Bronson, who brought forth these kids with an idea, showed them how to plant, and what they planted, they were going to eat. And I was looking at this and I saw equally as well his passion to make a difference in the city of Deerfield Beach, to not let kids just simply wander and not have any measure of responsibility. A lot of times our kids, we wonder how we can make them better is simply by getting involved and giving them a sense of direction, believing in their ability to do good things. And Mr. Bronson, I have watched him and I have just looked at the way he does things. I'm so proud of him because he is actually making a difference. He doesn't ask for any recognition. You wouldn't even know who he was if I didn't tell you. But he is a very, very special young man that's doing great things. Come on up, Jarvis.
Good evening. My name is Jarvis Brunson. I'm the Vice President of Operation for Deerfield Beach Community Cares. We're a local nonprofit organization here in the city of Deerfield Beach. And our mission is the oasis of health and wellness. And so our goal is really to address the needs of the residents of Deerfield Beach. You can contact us for anything you need. But our garden started with our young kids in our Youth Development and Leadership Academy. And we focus on a series of number of things, health and wellness, food and nutrition. So our kids started that with wanting to plant papaya seeds. And they had nowhere to, but with the gracious cooperation with the city and Park and Recs, we use the press box over at Oviedo McKeithen, over at the press box there. And so our kids, we work with them, 38 kids. We have a total number of 62 kids registered within our program. And so many of our kids live in the Stanley Terrace area. As you know, they couldn't plant papaya seeds at the time. And so we had a vision to go into Stanley Terrace and ask for it with the gracious cooperation with the Housing Authority. And so we started planting things there. And so we have a full garden with 8 raised beds. Our kids actually built a library that's inside of there. They built some of the raised beds. They built tree houses, bird houses, dog planter boxes that's inside of there. And we're doing a year-long series with the master gardener that I teach our kids not only how to plant, but to grow and crop on the products, and then how to eat healthy options with it. And so the vision came from our kids. We just made it happen. And so they're actually making hamburgers with some of the lettuce that's grown from our garden already. The vision came from them. I just made it happen with the work of the city and the Housing Authority. So, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Jarvis. Vice Mayor, do you want to speak?
I'm just very proud of a lot of the things that is happening in our city. But you have to remember, it is not just one group that makes it happen. It's all of us coming together as a city. We don't always have to agree on every little thing, but we have to agree on one thing centrally, and that is that we are committed and dedicated to making Deerfield Beach better. You have seen tonight a couple of people, Maria Bergstein and Jarvis Bronson, people that are committed, people that don't ask for any recognition, people that are not looking for recognition, but really are driven just by a common bond to make that which is around them better. That is important. And if we all did that, we could only imagine about where this city could go and what it could be. Because with these kids and the things that we have, there is so much creativity, so much that they have to give. They are a wealth, a gold mine of knowledge, but we got to dig in there, get in the mine and get it out so that it can better serve our city. And so I'm just very proud of the things that we are all doing together, and we have to keep it going. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Mr. City Attorney, number 3.
Item number 3 is a certificate of recognition presented to the Martin Luther King Parade winners.
So this year, the Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade and Celebration was held on Monday, January 19, was a true success. We welcomed over 1,000 people and featured 60 incredible parade entries, all coming together under beautiful weather to honor and celebrate Dr. King's legacy and this year's theme, One Deerfield, One Dream. After the parade, the celebration continued at the Johnny L. Tigner Community Center as families and neighbors stayed to enjoy rides, free food, live music, bands, inspiring keynote speakers, and extraordinary praise group performances, and educational and resourceful vendors who shared how they continue to uplift our community and keep Dr. Visions alive. This meaningful event was proudly planned in partnership by the African American Heritage Board and the Parks and Recreation Department. Tonight, it is our honor to recognize the groups who stood out and helped make this year's parade so memorable. Now, we have 6 awards that we're going to be giving out tonight from the parade. There are 6 different categories. I'm going to announce the category and then the winner. If the winner would just stand up, and then I have a brief description of your group. If you want to make your way to your left, my right, and to the alcove over here, Vernon, raise your hand, Vernon. Vernon has the certificates, raise it high. So go over to Vernon. He has your awards. And then at the end, all 6 groups will take a group picture with the commission. So with that, the first category is crowd favorite. Crowd favorite. And the award, I haven't announced who it is. Wait a minute, the whole crowd didn't win the award, all right? The crowd favorite was 40 Plus Double Dutch. All of you come with your yes. The 40 Plus Double Dutch group. The 40 Plus Double Dutch group is a unified sisterhood that empowers women through mental health, physical fitness, and fellowship, inspiring friendship, fun, and community. All of these ladies are over the age of 40, but jump, dance, and groove like you've never seen before. Gonna have to make room over there. We have 5 more groups coming up. Second, most creative goes to Little Bees Academy. Stand up. There we are in the back right. Little Bees Academy is a faith-based private school serving Deerfield Beach and the surrounding communities, dedicated to nurturing children spiritually, academically, socially, and creatively. Come on down. We're going to need a bigger chamber. Next is the Best Civic Group, which goes to Driven by Passion and Purpose Association. Driven by Passion and Purpose Association, Inc., led by Brittany Portier Downing, brings car enthusiasts together to promote mentoring, philanthropy, and lasting community impact. If you missed it, she even had her race car in the parade, and she had her driving outfit on as well. Which actually she did. It was pretty cool that morning as well. Okay, the fourth one is the best church group. Remember, God is watching. Goes to Bethlehem Missionary Baptist Church. I see Pastor Ford here in his group. Under the leadership of Pastor Reverend Ford, Bethlehem Missionary Baptist Church celebrates unity, compassion, and service as they recommit to the work of Dr. King. We have two more. Next is Best Marching Band. I don't know if they're here or not, but we're going to find out. Best Marching Band, Deerfield Park Elementary Magnet School of the Arts. They here? There they are. There we go. The Deerfield Park Elementary Magnet School of the Arts, featuring the Frequency Drumline and Steel Pan Ensemble, brought rhythm, creativity, and artistic excellence to our parade. And last but not least, youth involvement is the Greater Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church. Known as the Church at Work, Greater Bethel AME Church continues to serve the community with faith, action, and dedication. And before the commission, we go down and take a very big group picture. I also want to thank the members of the African American Heritage Board who are also here in attendance. If they also could please come up and take the picture. Without your hard work and dedication, this wouldn't be possible. Okay, commission, let's try and squeeze in somewhere. And we'll be right back. We'll give it 30 seconds before going to number 4.
He just got released from the doctors that did the in vitro to a regular obstetrician, which is the greatest medicine to have. Because we still didn't know at that point what it was going to take. But it's
Those that want to leave, we're going to give it 30 seconds to give you the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another 30 seconds, Mr. City Attorney, because they're going to be coming across.
August 3rd. Perfect time. We usually have a big break.
Okay, there's plenty of seating for those who want it. Mr. City Attorney, we can go to number 4.
Item number 4, certificate of recognition to be presented by Captain Hofstein to BSO law enforcement staff.
Captain Hofstein, come on down, please.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, folks. Much appreciated on behalf of this distinguished crew here that I have before you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, distinguished commissioners, Mr. City Manager, and citizens, residents, and visitors at Deerfield Beach. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I always appreciate the opportunity to be here and recognize the amazing work that our team does, because you don't always get to see it. You don't always get to hear about it. I have before you tonight, we have our district's crime suppression team. So the gentlemen dressed in the tactical gear, they look like they just popped out of a bubble wrap, like action figures, which they really are. They are members of an elite team, it really is, that battles the worst scourges that we have in our community, such as violent crime, gang activity, narcotics, human trafficking, crimes against children, the most horrendous things. We also have 2 distinguished patrol deputies. I'll introduce everybody. This is Detective Michael McKenna. This is Detective Marchena Christopher. This is Detective JB, as we call him, John Brown. This is Deputy Joyner, Deputy Romero, Detective Vensky, and their fearless leader down here, which is Sergeant, soon to be hopefully Lieutenant Abrams. The deputies are here too because even though they're patrol deputies, they've demonstrated, that they have the aptitude and energy and enthusiasm to shadow with this team as future detectives, hopefully on a crime suppression team somewhere. They're real go-getters. So in addition to the patrol duties, they often spend a lot of their own time working with this team. So I want to talk about some of the amazing things they've done. As we kick off this new year, it's also really recognizing the stellar year that this unit had for our district. So, and I'm quoting some of Sergeant Abrams' words that he provided me because he's quite the wordsmith. But at the beginning of 2026, he set out with this team under his leadership to set a precedent and send a message to any criminals in this city or dare visiting this city that narcotics dealing and human trafficking will not be tolerated. This team, along with Deputy Joyner and Deputy Romero, conducted several investigations. I'm only talking about several here that I'm recognizing. They've conducted hundreds of investigations throughout the year. But I'm going to talk about several that resulted in the arrest of very dangerous felons, the confiscation of large sums of money, but most importantly, the removal of dangerous and deadly and illicit narcotics and firearms from the streets of Deerfield Beach. These CST detectives generated 9 different search warrants on 3 different occasions and arrested 12 criminals for various crimes. And out of all the things I'm surmising, that is just this month alone for January 2026. But these things don't happen overnight. One of these cases began in May of 2025, just to give you an idea of how lengthy these investigations can be. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, we have 2 other detectives, Detective Munson, who's actually our agency's threat intelligence officer, who's assigned to Deerfield Beach to work with this team, and Detective Munduiz. They can't be here due to the sensitive nature of their work, but we're also recognizing them. These detectives investigated, I'm going to start with a local massage parlor. This might be of shock to you. Where there were complaints, sadly, of illicit prostitution. This investigation led to an arrest warrant for the owner and operator.
Please give the captain the floor, please.
Thank you. I know it's exciting material. It is. I wish I had a visual to go with it. The search warrant being conducted on the establishment was conducted along with search warrants at numerous bank accounts and safety deposit boxes that belong to this business. And that all came to fruition in January. So this started in May, came to fruition this month. The owner-operator was ultimately arrested. The accounts were seized, and along with documents and proof of prostitution, which has now become part of a very organized investigation and prosecution. This investigation was not only time-consuming, but these detectives also worked intricately and diligently alongside the Broward Broward State Attorney's SAFE unit. So that's an acronym for Stop Abuse and Fight Exploitation. So that's basically a task force that the state attorney's office has put together that we spearhead here in Deerfield Beach. So the culmination of that was not only the arrest of documented sex workers, but we've identified folks that we definitely believe are victims of human trafficking, and we're working on that aspect, and a seizure of a large amount of cash. I'm going to talk about the numbers when I wrap up because I really want to give you that extra punch at the end. Then they went on to another residential search warrant while they simultaneously were conducting that investigation. These detectives, along with our threat intelligence detective, received intelligence that drug activity was occurring at a residence on Northeast 43rd Court. A narcotics investigation was launched, and it was confirmed that fentanyl was being sold from the residence. I don't think anybody in this room will be surprised if you do not know what a scourge fentanyl is. You might as well be dealing rat poison from your front door. A warrant was obtained and executed in January. 2 individuals were arrested on this warrant, one for armed trafficking in narcotics and the other for pretrial violations for other prior serious crimes committed. So a habitual offender was taken off the streets along with a significant amount of fentanyl that I'm going to give you some numbers when we're done. Third, this is all simultaneous moving into January 2026. Detective Marchena and his teammates here, along with the threat intelligence detective, received intel of drug activity on Northwest 9th Avenue. A narcotics investigation was again launched, and it was confirmed that PVP was being sold from the residence. A warrant was obtained and executed this month. 4 people were arrested from inside the residence, 2 for trafficking narcotics and 2 for active warrants. And again, this is just a snapshot of what these detectives do day in, day out. And I want to just mention something else. There's a reason you don't hear about it in the news. There's a reason it doesn't garner a lot of attention, because they do it so safely. They do it without, first and foremost, anybody in the community or themselves being hurt, nor not even the suspects that they're taking into contact or into custody. So they really are the consummate professionals. I'm going to wrap up here with some numbers for you. So these are their stats for the crime suppression team, and along with Deputy Joyner and Deputy Romero, who've been working with them throughout the year. This year into January, 149 felons were taken off the streets of Deerfield Beach, 12 misdemeanor arrests, 473 grams of cocaine, that is over a pound of cocaine, 103 grams of crack cocaine, 9,029, let's not miss a gram, of marijuana. That's over 20 pounds of marijuana, 112 grams of methamphetamine. Here's the real kicker: 137 grams of fentanyl heroin mix. So if you do your research, you'll see that fentanyl has 80 times the potency of morphine. Usage can lead to sudden cardiac death, sudden cardiac arrest and subsequent death, which it often does, sadly. You can research an estimated lethal dose of fentanyl is 2 milligrams. So if you do the math on that, that is 68,000 lethal doses of fentanyl that these gentlemen have removed from our streets. 492 pills of all different kinds. Here's the kicker, money-wise, $810,000. That is actually a record amount for a team of this size in a city of our nature. That is really, really impressive numbers. That is almost $1 million in illicit drug proceeds that were seized. 39 firearms, 39 guns taken off our streets that will not end up in the hands of criminals or, God forbid, children. They answered 80 Crime Stopper tips. I want to put that out there, folks, because it is not a wasted effort to call Crime Stoppers. This is what it results in. 11 risk protection orders were served to individuals that were deemed by the courts unsafe to possess firearms, and 31 warrants were executed in our city. Really amazing work. And I'm going to surmise here, I'm going to steal his thunder, but my resident wordsmith at the end, Sergeant Abrams, this is his quote from the famous Irish poet William Butler Yeats, once stated, quote, "Do not wait to strike until the iron is hot, but make it hot by striking." And this quote really does embody the essence of this team, the essence of Sergeant Abrams' leadership. And by leveraging the entire team, which is what this is all about, it's all about teamwork, along with patrol and other investigative assets, their efficiency and effectiveness truly has produced outstanding results and made the streets of our city safer. So for that, I want to commend them and recognize them first and foremost as our detectives and deputies of the month for January 2026. They've also been nominated for Unit of the Year for the entire agency of the Broward Sheriff's Office, and they've also been nominated for the Distinguished Grand Cordon Award. So thank you, gentlemen. They're going to get their certificates later, so we'll save a little time there.
Thank you, Captain. Appreciate that. Mr. City Attorney, we are on to items 5, 6, and 7 on the consent agenda.
Public comment first.
We
So
are
do
doing
public
public
comment?
comment, yes. Sorry
All
about
right, we're
that.
now at the public comment portion of tonight's meeting. Persons addressing the commission shall state his or her name and address and may speak for 3 minutes. All remarks, this is the time for public comment on items that are not on tonight's agenda. The time for public comment on an item that is on tonight's agenda is after the agenda item title is read into the record and the mayor opens the public comment for that particular item. As a reminder, no comment shall be made related to the personal life or personal qualities of any person, and no language which would offend persons of ordinary sensibilities shall be permitted.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Madam Clerk, did anyone sign up? We'll take those that signed up first. She'll announce who goes first, followed by the who's on deck. Then we'll go to anyone inside the commission chamber, followed by those online and Zoom tonight. So Madam Clerk, did anyone sign up?
Yes. Dan Hers and then Beth Anderson.
Dan Hers is first, and Beth Anderson, you are on deck.
Good evening, Dan Hers, 330 Southeast 19th Avenue, and I'm part of the vocal majority. And I've never seen before what I witnessed on January 20th. You would think, given 4.5 years to come up with reasons to justify getting rid of Sheriff Tony, the three of you could have done a lot better with your reasons. The District 4 Commissioner and his silent majority that whispers in his ear everywhere he goes is so comical, I won't waste any time commenting on that. Commissioner Hudak got up to leave while I was speaking on January 20th. As a favor, I'll repeat the quotations from Michael Hudak's own mouth. I had really hoped that I had more information from the feasibility study. To say I was disappointed would be an understatement. I also want to see the due diligence and the details behind the costs. I understand all the detailed information that you went through, and I appreciate all of your due diligence, Mr. Reeves, but there's a lot of details that are missing that were pointed out, and you really didn't provide me with the answers I was looking for. I really think that I would like to see more details as far as what this is going to cost, because at the end of the day, it's about cost control. I don't know that we have the details in the cost. Pompano is taking a year in order to get that detail. Mayor Drosky pulled a Bill Gans on the 20th and managed to insult just about everyone in the audience that night. Couldn't the mayor and city manager have found someone a little less biased and not as ethically challenged as the Center for Public Safety's front man, Stockton Reeves? Stockton is a politician who ran for public office many times in Winter Park. And that ethics violation against Stockton signed by Governor DeSantis just shows he is as corrupt as the people in Deerfield Beach government that hired him. Now we know the real reason for the rush that the mayor and Rodney were peddling to us at the beginning of the year. Pompano Beach has disclosed that their $285,000 over 6-month-long study regarding public safety will be released to the public just 3 weeks from today. Every single one of the mayor's and Brimlow's actions since the budget workshops of 2021, when Todd first floated the idea of creating a new department for Rodney Brimlow, show that the fix was in to get rid of Sheriff Tony. Even ex-city manager David Santucci had to reprimand Brimlow and order him to stop undermining BSO while he was the director of public safety. Gentlemen, please stop playing Russian roulette with our public safety.
Just want to remind everyone, as I have for the last couple of meetings, this is not a pep rally. This is a business meeting, so no applause, no cheering, no booing. We're going to respect all opinions from different sides tonight. Beth Anderson, you're next. And Madam Clerk, who's on deck?
Peggy Ross.
Peggy Ross is.
Beth Anderson, 47 Oak Ridge E, Deerfield Beach. In the spirit of making Deerfield Beach better, I want to call your attention to the pedestrian bridge that crosses Hillsborough Boulevard to the beach. It actually connects two wonderful little tourist gems, our pier and beachfront, with Deerfield Island Park and, of course, the Cove area. Now that the Deerfield Island Park is open, oh, good news, Deerfield Island Park is open, and the shuttles are running Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 10 a.m. till 3. There's more pedestrians that are walking back and forth across the bridge. Problem is, the pedestrian pathway isn't even as wide as a doorway, and the car traffic is moving at a speed of 25, 30, 35 miles per hour over the bridge. It's very difficult to slow traffic down. That's a hard thing to achieve. It would be much easier if we could install, or if this Deerfield Beach Board could encourage the FDOT to install guardrails, pedestrian safety guardrail that creates a partition between the traffic and that very narrow strip of sidewalk. If you have people moving in two directions, they cannot pass each other. If anyone was to trip, slip, fall, it's automatic death. So I bring to your attention that there is a fatality waiting to happen. You can see it just in the month of November. Deerfield Island Park had almost 600 people take the little shuttle just on the weekend. You can imagine, as that park gets more utilization, people like to combine parking their car on the beach side, walking over the bridge, seeing the little island and the mangroves, the turtles, or the butterfly garden, and then they go back for the day at the beach. They kind of combine butterflies and beaches in a little Deerfield Island, Deerfield Beach gem. It's a lovely outing for a family, but I could see just walking on that bridge myself how dangerous this is. And I know that it's not the city that puts the guardrails up, but getting a request into FDOT would much better be heard if the request came from the city than if it came just from me as a sole citizen. So I thank you very much for listening, and let's make Deerfield Beach better.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Our Director of Public Safety is here tonight, and I'm sure he's taking notes and he's giving me the thumbs up in the back. Thank you. Peggy Ross, you're next. I saw you. Here you come. And who's on deck, Madam Clerk?
John Slattery.
Mr. Slattery, you'll be next.
Peggy Ross, 103 19th Avenue, Deerfield Beach. I agree with the woman before me, but I have different topics new. At the pier, it would be helpful if there was a bicycle rack down by the pier and the restaurants there. People have been locking them on the fence, and they've stopped them from doing that. But there's more and more people, especially if you're going to make the pier free, that do ride over. They ride over for breakfast at the new restaurant, and they really have no place for their bike. My other is the electric charging stations over at the beach. There's no ordinance or anything over there to protect people. Anybody parks there. I'm an electric person who lives in a condo, and you can't really get them in a condo, the charging stations. They take up 2 spaces. Anybody parks there, non-electric park there. And I've talked to the police, I've talked to someone in the city, and they say there's really no ordinances, no way to enforce anything over there. But having 6 cars that can be charged at one time, and that's if they're all working, which doesn't happen too often, it would be helpful if they could monitor that a little better. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, if we need to clean that up, I'll get with you later, okay? John Slattery is next, and who's on deck?
Ms. Capibianco.
Hello, John Slattery. I may ask for the other minute. I have a lot of stuff that I would like to go over.
3 minutes, please. Everybody.
1455 Southeast 5th Place. So I did share with everybody on the dais and anybody else that wants a copy, 6 pages. I want to try to go through this very quickly then. So this commission has mentioned in the past that out of all the cities in Deerfield Beach, virtually all of the ones larger than us have their own police department, therefore somewhat justifying the fact that we should too. So I did a little bit of research on that. The average age of those police departments is 70 years. The average population size at the time they started their police departments is 2,803 population. So we're jumping off of a different level here to start a police department than any of those other police departments did. On page 2, you'll see that I did weeks of research trying to find other municipalities that have done what we're planning to do. And by the way, let me just aside for a second, step away from this document and just say, at the meeting on the 20th, I was stunned at the fact that actually the vote happened as quickly as it did. I thought we were going to talk about numbers and there was going to be some discussion about what the plan was rather than everybody just voting to go, not everybody, but voting to go forward with this. I was stunned. And the fact that 2 commissioners showed up with pre-prepared speeches explaining why they made their decision before they heard anybody from the city, our residents, talk about what their impression was of this, I'm still flabbergasted that that happened. So back to this. So no cities with between 75,000 and 1.5 million residents has done this in the past 10 years. None. 500 cities have actually gone in the other direction of going from municipal police departments to county police. Deltona, meanwhile, did a study in 2008, a real study, not like the one that we did, 13 pages, and realized that this was not a good idea. They actually had a second thought themselves. They put it to a vote, to a referendum, and it was voted down. So Lauderhill did do this 31 years ago. And a couple quotes here, hiring challenges. The city conducted a nationwide search. They ended up with elderly, more veteran police and then very new police. There were none in the middle. So they had people with a lot of experience and people with no experience because there was just not the population to hire from. I've got other backup data on Lauderhill and Boynton Beach that I hope everybody takes a look at. But a couple things here. Lauderhill's budget for their police department, $39 million next year. City millage rate for them, 7.5%. Boynton Beach, $47 million. Millage rate,
Thank you, Mr.
7.5.
Slattery. Time's up.
Far more than we're paying BSO.
Donna Capobianco, you're next, please. And who's on deck, Madam Clerk?
Sean Clark.
Mr. Clark, you'll be next.
Donna Capobianco, 2157 Cambridge G. This unsilent majority attended the $72,000 input only frustrating feasibility study sessions regarding BSO, fire, go in-house and have our own. We spoke to all parties and we listened. On January 6th, the unsilent majority came to the meeting supporting keeping the BSO. 3 of our elected officials came in against. However, after listening to the unforeseen sheriff's alternative offer, watching and listening to the consultant's factually lacking report and presentation, 4 of our elected officials, excluding the mayor, felt more information was needed, and we residents agreed. On January 20th, the unsilent majority said the alternative approach should be agreed upon. We came out asking to please slow down, take the alternative offer, and use all that good information from a good study for free, and then make the best decision, whatever that decision might be. What we did not know was only 2 of our elected officials came to listen and form their opinion. The rest seemed 3, they had the previous misgivings and concerns about everything totally disappeared, and using the same non-factual $72,000 report they were critical of, came into the meeting with prepared speeches, presentations, defending ending the BSO and fire relationships. District 3 Commissioner Shanetsky, Vice Mayor Preston listened, heard us, and spoke to and for us. The other 3 appeared to show no concern for what the residents were saying, and the mayor expressed anger that we did some horrible things about chastising what these people do. That exhausted all the trust. Choosing the up to 2-year alternative would have held us all together hurt no one, and provide the needed factual data to make a good decision. We were all ready to clear away all the discourse and together focus only on making the best, well-researched decision possible. It was an opportunity to create a win for the commission, a win for the residents, a win even for the BSO, because they would have contributed over $225,000 to making the best decision either way. Bottom line, it would have been the most prudent thing to do. Had that happened, the clear majority of voices on either side of the debate would have felt respected and heard and more tolerant of whatever the end result is. Whatever the ulterior motive,
Bianco.
we need to
Appreciate
do
it.
the right thing.
Who's next, Madam Clerk, please?
Sean Clark, and then Valerie.
You can just
I'm
name and
Sean
address for the
Clark.
record, please.
I live at 1030 Valeros Boulevard. All right, it's probably been over 10 years since I got a ticket or an accident. I don't remember the last ticket I got. All of a sudden in December, I got 5 red light camera tickets in the mail in a 10-day period. Right? You guys handed out 20,000 tickets in 3 months in 2 locations. There's side streets. I mean, one's 10th Street, but how many cars can possibly drive past the high school in a month? You're ticketing like half the people that drive down the street. It's not clearly marked. I don't see like flashing lights that say camera. It's ridiculous. And it's a scumbag move. And I hope you guys think about giving us like maybe amnesty for the first 3 months so that people can get used to this new policy you have. I get it. You want to pay for a new police department. Right? I've had to go to the BSO substation 4 times for my business and for personal stuff in the last couple of years, and they're probably the worst police department I've ever had to deal with. Like county jail employees are more professional than these people. I'd rather deal with a CO than the cops you have here. But you guys like mismanage money like crazy. Just look at the lifeguard stands at $250,000 each, or those fucking garbage cans at $1,500 each. We don't trust you to manage this money. And you should really think about doing the right thing and giving the people that you gave all these tickets to a break until we could figure out where these hidden cameras are. $20,000 tickets. You guys feel good about that? I'd like to know how many cars drive past those things. You got to ticket half the people. 1 out of 5, 20% of the people that drive down the street get a ticket. And it's all of our faults. Do the right thing, man. Give everybody a break for the first couple of months and mark it clearly. Let us know where the red light, where the cameras are, and put better signs up. I haven't had a ticket in over 10 years. Now I got 5 of them. Hope you really think about it.
Sean, we have discussed those school zone cameras extensively. There's Director of Public Safety in the back. I'll be happy to explain more to you. No, we don't yell out from the audience. No, ma'am. No, ma'am, we don't do that. Madam Clerk, who's next, please?
Valerie?
Valerie, come on down. Is there anyone else on deck? Just name and address for the record, please.
Valerie Runkles, and I live at 278 Southwest 8th Court. And I'm a new resident to Deerfield. And the area on Southwest 10th Street and Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue, across from the Tivoli Sand Pines Preserve, like there's a bunch of lights that are out, like completely out. So it's like really dark. And like I'm trying to like exercise and things, but there's a lot of lights that are out. There's only one trash can in that really huge area where the workout equipment is. There's only one trash can, and like once a week I'm picking up trash and I'm getting big bags, like multiple bags of trash, and there's nowhere to put that. So maybe if somebody could replace the light bulbs and maybe put a new trash can over there, that would be nice. That's it.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, anyone else that signed up? No?
Oh, sir.
Okay, so we're going to go to those inside the commission chamber. Then we're going to go to those on Zoom. Mr. Cummings?
Joe Cummings, 267 Oak Ridge P. some of the remarks that were made tonight perhaps have merit. Several months ago, the Broward County Sheriff agreed to accept the Florida Commission on Ethics by a 3-2 vote and avoiding a public trial to accept and agreed to be censored and disciplined by the governor, which resulted in the Broward County Sheriff being placed on a Brady list. Perhaps we should have that standard for all of the contract vendors that come in here, that they measure to the same standard. It was my understanding that these public safety meetings were not to be attended by the commissioners, and I don't know whether that's true or not, but these meetings ended up being a infomercial for BSO, since, as one of the neighbors put it, that was intimidated and remaining silent, as Commissioner Plout said 2 weeks ago, there were more guns than residents at these meetings. So all the talk that we've heard already is not going to change the fact that BSO is unaffordable. $73 million in budgetary shortfalls, another $37 million in cost overruns for the training center, is an example of not of good governance, but of bad governance. And the only people that will be forced to bail out these budgetary shortfalls are the taxpayers. And there is no way that the taxpayers of Deerfield Beach, who, as Commissioner Shinesky pointed out last week, we have a lot of people that have to go and get, involved in these programs that in order to get food to be put on their table. So you guys acted responsibly by not taking the burden by poor fiscal management by the Broward County Sheriff and putting it on the backs of the Deerfield Beach taxpayers. We need to be beyond reproach. Let's hold everybody to that same standard.
Thank you, Mr. Cummings. Anyone else in the commission chamber would like to speak? Mrs. Bolovich, come on down. Commissioner, you'll be next.
Good evening. April Bolovich, 899 Northeast 4th Street. Oh, I wanted to give you this. Thank you for your time tonight. The city is preparing to dismantle our existing public safety services and create new police and fire departments without sufficient trust, transparency, or independent analysis. If we trusted this excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous tonight. If we trusted the feasibility process that led us here, these chambers would be empty. Respectfully, they're not. I ask you to pause and consider the information that is still missing. Governor Ron DeSantis has stated his intent to eliminate property taxes, forcing city and counties to replace that revenue. BSO costs are already the largest part of our county taxes, and that expense does not disappear even if BSO does. Pompano Beach has completed a comprehensive year-long $280,000 feasibility study evaluating whether to create its own police and fire department. That report's going to be released in 3 weeks on the 24th and should add meaningful, real data to this discussion in Deerfield Beach. By contrast, the $70,000 Deerfield Beach study produced a 12-page report prepared by the Center for Public Safety. The executive director of that company was publicly censured by the Florida Commission on Ethics for inaccurate financial disclosures. Given that history, how can we be confident in the financial assumptions made in this report? 2 simple questions remain unanswered today. First, what is the funding source? Second, can you guarantee that the millage rates, taxes, or fees will not increase as a result of this change? Additionally, startup departments are statistically more prone to additional operational failures, training gaps, and costly mistakes. Those risks bring lawsuits and liability, and right now, BSO assumes that risk. Leaving BSO also puts the community programs at risk, such as Police Athletic League, BSO Cares, and Youth Mentoring. With unresolved infrastructure issues, including mold and asbestos in the fire stations, damage at Pioneer Park, a failed drainage project, this underscores the fact that this is not the time to rush into an irreversible decision. I'm respectfully asking the commission to accept the 2-year extension offered by Sheriff Gregory Tony, who has offered to fund a truly independent third-party study by the firm of the city's choosing at no cost to Deerfield Beach. If we trusted that 12-page report and the numbers inside it, these chambers would be empty. One way to begin rebuilding trust is to pause now and address the concerns you hear tonight. And I'd like to make this clear. I'm not promoting BSO or in-house.
Thank you, Ms.
I think we need
Golovich.
more information to make that decision.
Thank you. Former Commissioner Bernie Parnas, you're next.
I'm not going to turn around, but how many people in the audience studied the 147-page backup material on this subject? Raise your hands, please.
Mr.
Oh, yes,
Parnas,
it is.
Commissioner. Hey. Everybody has their turn. Commissioner, you need to address the commission. You know. the
Thank you.
rules.
We elect the commission to make the tough decisions. People are saying, let's stay with Tony for 2 more years. Well, let's look at that. He's over $70 million in the hole, went to the county, and the county said, no. So where's that 70 million going to come from? You, the local taxpayers that use the BSO. The money's got to come from somewhere. The county's not giving it to him. You have to. Where does it end? If he broke his contract with us this year, what's to prevent him from doing it next year? Or the year after? Or the year after that? How much do you want to pay in taxes for somebody whose signature is worthless? You elect the commission to make the tough decisions for the benefit of the residents of this city. They've read the reports. They've looked into the other cities, 18 of which do not use the BSO, including Fort Lauderdale, that is a rather large city. They don't use the BSO. Pompano only extended for 1 year. They already have their own fire department away from the BSO. It's time we controlled our destiny and kept prices reasonable, because our seniors especially cannot afford Sheriff Tony and his misspending of our money. Thank you.
Thank you, former commissioner. Ms. Jackson, you coming to speak?
So I am. Oh, I'm gonna speak. Hi, everybody. I'm up here on a couple issues. Okay, first,
Name and address for the record, please.
you guys know my address, 386 Southwest 35th Avenue, Deerfield Beach, Florida. The speed by the schoolhouse. I've been getting several calls from people, and I'm just a little concerned because it look like most of the tickets are being issued by MLK in front of Deerfield Park Elementary. I know at Quiet Waters you have from 7 to 2:45 when the speed, I guess, when they're doing the cameras with the speeding. School is in. I go by there every day, Quiet Waters. I drive the speed limit when school is in, when there's not in the morning after school hours and in the evening, but I go in between and after hours, I go to speed limit. The speed limit is like 45, okay? I used to try to stay on the 45. And tickets, I wonder if tickets are being given to people during that time. By Deerfield Park Elementary, from my understanding, the calls I'm getting, people are going after hours, after 4 o'clock. I had someone went there after 9 o'clock and they got tickets that was going 30 miles per hour and was going to speed limit. And these people are getting tickets. So I just want to make sure you guys are not just going to a certain area because of that area's mostly minority. That's one. Also, my understanding, your water department Sometimes people get off late from work and they forgot to pay their water bill. You no longer have anybody go out to turn the people water on, and they have kids, and some kids maybe have special needs or whatever. That need to be put back in place because it's not fair us as a resident. We pay enough money to you guys. And I want to congratulate Captain Hosteen on his crew. That should tell you guys something right there. And I just want you guys to go back and investigate. I know who's over there talking because they got something in mind, thinking they're going to get a contract with the when you guys come in office, but it's not going to happen. But anyway, we need to. No one's not saying not to go with BSO or have our own private BSO. What our community and the residents asking for you guys to do the study, get the figures. How can you guys make a decision without getting the amount, what it's going to cost us? I'm with DeSantis. I hope he take away the taxes, and I hope he spread the tax among everybody. So not only the property owners will have to be responsible for paying taxes, because we pay enough. And if something's going on, I'm not sure what's going on with you guys, but you guys got to do the right thing. You got to do the right thing. And I'm asking you guys, please consider what you're doing. Go back, redo what you have done, because it's not fair to us as a community.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Not church, folks. Come on, just name an address for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Lynn Coe. I live at 220 Northeast 8th Terrace in Deerfield Beach. I've lived in Deerfield for over 50 years. My husband used to be a firefighter in Deerfield when we owned the fire department and when we owned the police department. Apparently, in those days, we decided that we could not afford to own a police department or a fire department. And we sold off to BSO then. Now, maybe we were the smart ones then. Maybe not. However, when you look at the things that BSO does provide for us, and I know I read the documents that said we would still have the SWAT team and we would still have the helicopter and things like that afforded to us. But what about these gentlemen that were up here? What about the drugs? They just took off our street in Deerfield to make us live in a better city. Could we afford to have a police department with that many members and that many firefighters to provide? Can we afford to provide that kind of same safety to all of us? Now, I think that all of these people, and I haven't been involved in this until tonight, but we do need to look at what Pompano Beach is doing, because apparently years ago, we could afford to do this, but we can't afford to now jump in to the deep end of the pool and say we can afford to do this, because what people are you going to get on your police department and fire department? Are they going to want to stay with BSO or one of the other bigger departments? And are we going to get people that need training, which you have to pay for? Are we going to have firefighters that have somebody that they'll go into a fire with? Or will they be saying, I'm not going in with this guy. He doesn't have any training. There are a lot of things to take into consideration when you have your own fire department and police department. And apparently our commissioners years ago said, we can't afford to do this anymore.
Thank you, Ms. Coe. Anyone else? Mr. Ungian?
Jonathan Ungian, 1938 Northeast 6th Street. So first I want to talk about the beach parking and the electric. From what I understand, you get free electric to charge your car there. So I'm just confused. Can I get some free gas pumps? So now on to the school speed zone cameras. What a racket. So in the name of school safety, when lights are on, I wholeheartedly agree. But the reality is you don't need the speed cameras at those times. You want to know why? Because BSO has officers at every single school zone. Because guess what? The tickets are a lot more expensive when the officers give them. And BSO gets money and everybody gets a lot more money. So The reality is our neighbor, Boca Raton, who loves money, doesn't do it during the time outside of when those lights are flashing. I understand the state statute allows for you to do it, but that doesn't mean you have to rob your tax base. So in the name of school speed zone safety, I wholeheartedly agree. But like I said, the deterrent is there, whether the officers are there at every single one. So it's time for you all to wake up and realize that there's other places to get tax revenue. There's other places than, for instance, at the beach, instead of giving free electric for people to charge their cars. So, you know, the reality is this city needs to do better. Just because the state affords you to do something doesn't mean you need to do it. So the reality as well is maybe I would like to know, I'd like to put in a public records request. How many of those tickets are for between, for instance, here on Hillsborough, between 45 miles an hour and 50? Because maybe 35 is too low of a speed limit, and you're choosing places such as that have artificially low speed limits when those lights are not on, so that you can give a lot more tickets. So it's time for us to all wake up. Mr. Preston, Vice Mayor, I've heard you say that you've heard from your constituents. Let's act. Let's do something. Because having an eye in the sky is not due process. If I'm rushing my little 15-month-old to the hospital, no officer's going to give me a ticket. You've taken due process away from your people for an eye in the sky. Thank you.
Thank you. Former Commissioner Battle?
Gloria Battle, 1240 Southwest 6th Way, Deerfield Beach, Florida. Let me first just thank those three commissioners that took the time to do your homework. I know what it is. I was sitting where you all sitting at one time. And I remember when we were doing the research for the Memorial Cemetery, I asked someone to turn to page 300 and they said, who reads all this stuff? Thank you for reading all that stuff and making your decision. But that's not what I came here for today. At the senior center, and I know that initially there was some talk about us having a second floor onto that. Now it's gotten to the point, I go there for my exercise, especially chair exercises. It's gotten to the point where we're limited to 30 people. There are more than 30 of us that are 75 years or 65 years or older. And it pains me when we go to exercise that we have to turn people away because the classroom is so small that we can only get 30 people in there. So please look into that for me. Thank you.
Thank you, former Commissioner. Come on down. Just name and address for the record,
Jason
please.
Syracuse at 1221 Southeast 14th Court. One of the unfortunate things that happened at the last commission meeting was the city manager's answer to the vice mayor's question regarding if we are to assume all the startup costs of an in-house public safety department, will this affect the tax millage rate? The millage tax. The city manager answered, it should not, based on what our CFO has looked at already. In the name of transparency and full disclosure, why didn't the city manager give us any details on how the city would pay the approximately $30 million in startup costs? This huge financial undertaking by the city will be going on at the same time as possibly losing $18 million in homesteaded property tax revenue next year. The city manager also said last summer that his goal is to raise our general reserves from the minimum 10% of our operational budget to 30%. This would mean increasing reserves by $22 million. With his stated goal of raising the reserves to a percentage amount considered best practice, how can the city manager use any of our current $32 million in reserves to pay for public safety startup costs? Please, city manager, I know a lot of people would be more supportive of the move to an in-house public safety department if we knew how you planned on paying for it without our taxes and fees going up. I would think the commissioners may also want an answer to that question. Additionally, one thing I've never heard spoken of so far, the unintended consequences and costs involved with the city running their own police and fire department. The city is going to be subject to lawsuits to handle claims such as civil rights violations, malpractice. Where are the figures, the projections for what's going to cost to defend all of these things? Purchasing power. I don't feel that the city has the purchasing power of BSO. BSO can purchase vehicles, trucks at better rates. Even if we can duplicate that, where are these millions of dollars in annual savings coming from? I'll leave it with this. It is my opinion that public safety should be left to the professionals. BSO has access to the latest equipment, training, data, and techniques. BSO is 100% ready, 100% prepared, 100% of the time. I don't want the city to practice public safety with anyone's lives, especially my own. If the city is committed to cutting costs, there are plenty of other areas to do so without jeopardizing safety. The city should pause this plan until every question and concern is answered to everyone's satisfaction and every possibility is considered. I think that the city has put a false sense of urgency on this transition. And as Vice Mayor President said, you got to get it right. There's no room for error on this. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. No clapping, please. Anyone else like to speak? Just name and address for the record. please.
Yes, Janet Castro Giovanni, 1523 East Hillsborough Boulevard, Deerfield Beach. I'm just very emotional. I mean, these guys have done such a wonderful job. I don't think there's enough studying going on about, you know, the cost, the preparation of safety for our community. I'm really afraid. I really am, because I don't know what we're going to get. And I don't think it was carefully studied. So I'm asking if you please reconsider and just, you know, make the people that spoke up today appease, you know, their concerns. Okay? And I don't know what else to say. I just, you know, hope and pray that we are doing the right thing for our community. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else inside the commission chamber like to speak? Former Mayor Nolan, you coming down?
Peggy Nolan, 325 Southeast Third Terrace, Deerfield Beach. I can't comprehend why we're in such a hurry. In 3 weeks, Pompano Beach, who spent over $200,000 to get a study done, yes, it was on the police side, but that would be half of what it would cost us. We were offered a deal that the sheriff would pay for the study, and 3 of you said no. I am appalled and embarrassed. Even the mayor of Pompano wrote a little snide remark in the newspaper the other day that he cannot believe that it took, 6 weeks for us to get information that you're making a decision on? There's a lot of people here that are very upset in this community. And I beg you, what would it do to wait 3 more weeks to get information from the city of Pompano Beach and have a chance to say, okay, maybe we were wrong? Because none of us have heard any figures. In 20 years, we're going to save millions of dollars. Like I said before, I'll be dead. You have to stop and think about all the residents in this community. And obviously, some of you don't care about us because you slapped us in the face 2 weeks ago. Will you let us sit here for 2.5 hours and talk and talk and talk like you were actually listening to the residents of this city? And none of you did. But boy, do you all wanted our help when you were running for office, didn't you?
Please, order, please. Anyone else inside the commission chamber? Mr. Hines, good to see you.
Good to see you, Mayor. Joe Hines, 559 Northwest 47th Terrace. Sometime during the middle of the 1990s, City Commission made a horrible decision when in regard to the fire department. They gave them a guaranteed pension, a determined pension. That resulted in the fire department being transferred to Broward County back about 2010. They did that in order to be able to close that pension down and start over again with Broward County with a new pension structure. Those employees for the fire department remained on board, and they've continued to reap the benefits and rewards of that. To this day, that group, I don't know what the number is, I believe it's probably above 80, are making over close to $160,000 a year on an average. So what I'm trying to say is the city commission made a horrible decision during the 1990s when it decided to give them a defined pension plan. That was done by the commission. I don't know the reasons behind it. I wasn't here. I was a resident. I wasn't paying attention. I would like to see this commission keep this issue open and not rush to judgment on this thing, but just keep this thing open for a few more weeks and just see what Pompano comes up with. And then maybe you might want to revisit this issue. I think this issue does need to be revisited because I think the lid's going to come off. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hines. Mr. Nolan, come on down.
Howard Nolan, Deerfield Beach. I don't have to give my address. I'm a former firefighter. The city of Deerfield Beach firefighters' pension went into existence in the 70s. We had people in the pension for 25 years until this guy came up here and said we started in the 90s. Okay? We went to the Broward County Sheriff's Office for savings. The savings were manpower and service to the citizens. We've never changed that idea with the Broward Sheriff's Office. And the people that he's talking about are making $180,000. I get a good pension from the city of Deerfield Beach, but I'm not close to $180,000. If this guy's going to stand up here and badmouth the fire department, he better get his facts straight.
Mr. Hines, you had your turn.
The city of Deerfield Beach saved big dollars when we went to the Broward Sheriff's Office. They saved big dollars in workers' compensation and health insurance. The city of Deerfield Beach had $4 million in reserves when we went to the Broward Sheriff's Office in 2011. They have $35 million in reserves now because of the savings the city received from not having to pay workers' compensation, liability, and health insurance. But now all of a sudden, we want to start paying workers' comp again. We want to start paying health insurance again. For what, 300 employees? What is that going to do to the city? There is probably about a $30 million startup cost. Radios, computers, life packs, anything that's on any one of our trucks belongs to the Broward Sheriff's Office. Everything has to be purchased. Nothing is yours. It belongs to the Broward Sheriff's Office. Don't look behind you. The vast majority is not back there.
Mr. Nolan, address the commission, please.
I am addressing the commission. He don't even know we don't own it. But we're not gonna, we're gonna put trucks out there without equipment on it? We're talking almost $30 million. So the $30 million you saved in the reserves now from when the fire department merged is going to be gone because we're going to need it for startup costs. It's not going to be the millage, but hey, our AAA bond rating in 2009 and 10 was going in the toilet. And that's one of the reasons that the city of Deerfield Beach merged with the Broward Sheriff's Office for the fire department, to get that bond rating back up again and the savings that was realized as a result of that.
Thank you, Mr. Nolan. Anyone else inside the commission chamber like to speak? Mr. Chansey?
I come in peace. Joe Chansey, 4250 Northeast.
We'll be the
4th
judge of
Avenue.
that.
Listen, as I mentioned before, you guys know the numbers. You know, whether it's for BSO or we take it in-house, I know the biggest issue was the budget. And as I am in real estate, I always, or at least I'm bounded by contract. So if you are agreed upon a number and that's the annual increase, that's what everybody expects. So you all know the number, you all know where we are with that. I know we all are charged one way or another, but it's, to me, I'm always a number. The numbers are the numbers. So with that, that's all I have to say regarding the BSO and in-house. I want to bring my concern more to Northeast 3rd Avenue. Commissioner Hudak and I have at length spoke about this, and also Eric Powell as well. I just need to get an update on when, and I guess when can we expect something to get done over there? Because it's horrible, and it's a major thoroughfare from Broward Health North down from Sample all the way north to 48th Street, I would say. So, I mean, I do commend that the traffic, well, excuse me, let me rephrase that. The accidents have significantly dropped. So the preventive measures are working, but we have to have like a more permanent fix. It's ugly. The poles are not even there. It's disgusting. So I would like to get an update and when we can get something done over there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chansey. Mr. Khan, you coming to speak?
James Khan, 621 Northwest 46th Avenue. I've been listening to the meeting before I got here, and there's people online and people who come up here and they're angry about speed cameras. So my question is, when I read someone say, I need to know where those cameras are, and why are they ripping us off? This is a money grab. My question to those people is, why do we have a law and why do we have a speed limit? If the speed limit is 35, there's a reason for it. And that reason is simply that that particular area requires a lower speed limit for safety. So if you go 11 miles per hour over 35 miles per hour, now what are you doing? You're breaking the law and you're angry at the commissions? That makes no sense whatsoever. Just drive the speed limit. It's a simple fact. If you drive the speed limit and you obey the law, then you're not going to get a ticket. If you need to rush your daughter to the hospital, which was brought up tonight, you can either call an ambulance or you could go to court and fight the ticket and explain why you were speeding, and the judge will probably dismiss it. In regard to the BSO issue, I keep hearing a lot of anger and indignation directed at the commissioners. That horse has left the barn. A decision has already been made. So all they're doing is wasting our time and talking endlessly about why we shouldn't have our own police force and fire department, and it's been considered ad nauseum. So I really think that we need to move on and be positive and stop attacking the commissioners online, coming up here and screaming at them. It's unprofessional. It isn't right. We talked about a silent majority, and some people made fun of that, but commissioners go out and speak to people. The people who are in this room, a lot of them came here when they were asked to come here by BSO advocates. And there were people that were intimidated to speak because they don't want to speak in front of BSO.
Excuse me, everybody. Mr. Khan has the
They
floor.
don't want to speak in front of BSO because, I mean, BSO is great. We love the officers. We love the fire department. We don't want to stand up and say something when they're all sitting around us. But if we have an opinion that runs contrary to what the people who've been asked to come here by certain groups have, then we should be entitled to stand up and express it without feeling embarrassed. And I think at this point, as they say in Texas, the pig is under the fence. It's too late to go back. We've made a decision. Let's move on with it. And let's just realize that we elected these officials to make decisions, and we're not always going to agree with it. But we need to understand that those officials, if you don't like the decisions they make, you can go to the ballot box and next time, you can vote your heart. But the majority put these people up here. And I think they're doing a fantastic job. I think they've given this all the consideration they possibly can. And that we should realize that and be positive
Khan.
moving forward.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Could we please take the side conversations outside, please? BSO, we're gonna have to start, unfortunately, removing people if we can't keep the order. This is a business meeting of the city. Go
How
ahead,
are
name
you?
and address, please. Sorry.
Mike Tuminello, 1429 Southeast Sixth Street for 29 years. Been coming down here since 1985. My family had Tuminello's Deli on Federal Highway. We made a lot of gabagool and mozzarella sandwiches down there for you guys, all right? Trenchatelli and Capolini and all those guys. I'm here to stand up for some of my brothers and sisters. I retired December 1st from BSL Fire Department. I was at Station 32, which is a technical rescue team. Like the gentleman here, we're the SWAT of the fire department. Sorry, my voice is a little crackled. I raised three beautiful daughters, all went to St. Ambrose. I have a grandson that goes to St. Ambrose. Very proud of Deerfield Beach, I really am. Since I moved here from Little Rock, Arkansas, kidding. Staten Island, New York, kidding. I just want to say that what's going on, it's tough. It's tough to see this. You know, I know my guys helped you to get in that seat. I don't get involved in politics. It's not my thing. But you got a lot of good people, BSO, a lot of good people. Whatever the ego thing is between, you know, people with Tony Gregory, we can't just leave them. I mean, we're getting the best service that Deerfield Beach residents deserve. I ran those calls for 25 years, okay, personally. Fentanyl calls, car accidents, people dying. This, you know, you guys got to sit down and get this right, because you're not going in the right direction. I can tell you right now. So please, I urge you guys and ladies, sit down, think about this. This is huge. You're going to leave the best of the best to start up another small Mayberry Fire Department. Come on, this is ridiculous. You guys got to get it together, please. For the love of God, take care.
Thank you. Anyone else inside the commission chamber would like to speak this evening? No?
You haven't heard from me yet.
Come on down, then we'll switch to those online. I appreciate those online being
I'm
patient.
Susan Page, 13 Southwest 11th Court, Deerfield. Been here for 20 years. Good to see you guys. I was here the night that Mr. Reeves made his presentation. We were sitting over here, my girlfriend and I. He was sitting in front of us. When he started getting beat up by everybody because the report was lacking, he said to us, I gave the commission what they asked for. They did not ask me for this intensive report. So I'm just telling you, I know what he said to me. My girlfriend's here too. I know she's not going to come up here and say anything, but he didn't do the report that was needed. So I do beg you people to reconsider your vote and think of the major loud majority that is saying you're making the wrong decision. My daughter is a detective for Fort Lauderdale. And I know, and I'm getting emotional, it's not easy being a cop. And she works for Special Victims Unit. She goes for raped children, killed children, very violent crimes. And if you don't have the professional people you need in place day one, all we're going to be doing is training people. They're going to work for a year, maybe a little longer, and then they're going to go someplace else where it's greener pasture, and we're just going to have a turnover. And I don't want to see that. I've talked to many of my neighbors, and they said, you know, we can't afford to live here anymore. If our taxes keep going up, the next thing that's going to happen is our rating's going to go down and our homeowners insurance is going to go up, because part of our insurance is based off of our ratings. So please reconsider, get the report, or even wait for the report from Pompano. Okay? Thank you for listening to me. And I hope everyone heard me. Okay? I don't know if any of you were cops. It's not an easy job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Julie Rodriguez, 150 Southeast 7th Street. I just want to know when the decision has to be made, because we keep on talking about this, and talking about this over and over. Just when is your decision going to be made? Well, then why are we wasting our time trying to convince you to change it?
Okay, we're going to switch to those online. I want to appreciate those that are online for hanging with us and being patient this evening. Madam Clerk,
Kelly Fay.
Kelly Fay will be first. Name and address for the record, please. If you could unmute her. Go ahead, Kelly Fay, you're unmuted. Madam Clerk, is anyone else online? We're going to have to move on if she's not going to speak. Kelly Fay, last chance. Okay, we're going to move on. Last chance for anyone inside the commission chamber would like to speak on public comment tonight. Seeing no one else, we're gonna close. Ma'am, you already spoke. No,
I
no
can't-
twice.
Second,
You
on
cannot.
another project?
You cannot. Sorry. Nope. Sorry. Mr. City Attorney, I'm going to close the public comment and we're going to go to consent items 5, 6, and 7.
We are currently on consent. Items 5 through 7 are on consent.
Are any polls by the commission? Is there anyone inside the commission chamber or online that would like to speak on items 5, 6, or 7 tonight? 5, 6, or 7. I'm going to close the public hearing on items 5, 6, and 7. Commission?
Motion to approve items 5, 6, and 7.
Second.
Motion to approve items 5, 6, and 7 by Commissioner Hudak, seconded by Commissioner Plout. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Hudak,
Yes.
Commissioner Plout,
Yes.
Commissioner Shinetsky,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Preston,
Yes.
Mayor Drosky.
Yes. Again, if we could please, we are conducting a business meeting this evening, folks. If you could please keep the conversations outside. We are on to Mr. City Attorney.
We are now at comments by administration and legal. I have no comments tonight. I believe the manager stepped out to go to the restroom. I think he does have a comment. Or he mentioned to me he had a comment, so he may be back in a minute. You want to move on to number 8 or?
We'll come back to comments by administration. So we'll go to number 8.
Number 8 is discussion and potential action regarding waiving the fee for sightseers on the International Fishing Pier.
Commissioner Hudak, this has your name on it. Would you like to start us out? Or is there a presentation by staff? Okay. Mr. Warner.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the commission. For the record, Greg Warner, Director of Parks and Recreation. And to start out for this discussion tonight, I just want to provide you with some background about the pier and some numbers as far as attendance, and revenues. So with that. So at the International Fishing Pier, I ran some statistics on attendance, and I used fiscal year 24, which was the year it did go under construction. So we have a hard 8 months of attendance, which showed sightseeing attendance at 88,000 over the 8 months, averaging out to 11,000 per month, and then fishermen attendance of 14,355 over those 8 months, with an average of 1,794 per month. So I extrapolated that out to a 12-month number, which gave us a total of sightseers at 132,000 or just over 132,000. And fishermen attendance just over 21,500. And those do run consistent with the numbers that from a full year of fiscal year 23, which we had about 133,000 total attendance in the pier. And interesting fact with the attendance of sightseers, if you look at those numbers of the 132,096, 88% of those were non-residents from Deerfield and 12% being residents. So as you can see, the International Fishing Pier lives up to its name. It is a tourist attraction for the city, as well as the number of residents that use it. It's a great attraction. So going on to some of the revenues that we showed, and again, using the fiscal year 24 numbers, and sightseeing over the 8-month period, $173,000 was brought in, or $21,625 per month. And fishermen, 57,420, with a little over 7,100 per month average. And again, taking that out to 12 months, using those averages, total revenues would be 230,420 over the eight months, and then the 12-month projection was over $345,000 brought in during that fiscal year. So I just wanted to also show some comparison cities up along the east coast of Florida, and what the charges are for those different piers. And I'll start out with the Deerfield Beach Pier. Our current fees, or our current charges that were approved by the commission last July would be $2 per person sightseeing to get onto the pier, and $4 for a fisherman. And that would be we made it consistent for both residents and non-residents on those fees. So if you look at the Pompano Beach Pier, sightseeing is free for everyone going onto the pier. With fishing, their rates are $7 for a resident and $14 for a non-resident. The Dania Beach Pier, sightseeing has $2 plus tax to get on for sightseeing, and fishing $4 plus tax. So very similar to Deerfield's fee schedule. The Lake Worth Pier, sightseeing $1, and for fishermen, $4. The Juneau Beach Pier, $2 for sightseeing, $5 for fishermen. And then lastly, the Sunny Isles Fishing Pier, sightseeing is free, and fishing, they have a resident card, and a resident can get on there for free with that card. And then non-residents are $10 to get on for fishing. So there's a wide gambit there, but overall, there's a consistent theme with the Deerfield Beach fees, the $2 and the $4. And I did add a slide onto the presentation since last week, and I hope that you all received that today. And I wanted to talk about the potential revenue impacts if we were to look at either a reduction or a total waiver of the fees. So looking at this for full, and I used the numbers from the fiscal year 24 with the total attendance figures. A full waiver of all sightseers would show an impact of $264,192 per year if you extrapolate that out with the $2 per person charge. And if you did just a full waiver of all resident sightseers, you have an impact of $31,703 lost. And if you went with a reduced fee, and we took a $1 waiver for all people going on as sightseers with a Grow Deerfield Beach card, the impact would be $132,000, or just over $132,000. And a waiver for just residents, you have an impact of $15,852. So I will be available for any questions, but I wanted you to have that information before we held the discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Warner. Commissioner Hudak, you have your light on?
Yeah, the first question is the resident card for Sunny Isles and for, I don't know if it's for Pompano or not, it just says resident. Do they pay for that resident card? Is it like a card like we used to have the parking that you paid $50 a year or something like that?
To tell you the truth, Commissioner, I don't know that. Staff
Okay.
got me this information. I did not confirm that. I can confirm that for you, though.
Okay, I was just curious. If you could put up the slide, I kind of redid the pricing because I understand that there's a financial impact to it. And I wanted the commission to take a look at it and possibly consider it. So I asked Heather to go ahead and put it on for you. My recommendation is as follows. So again, right now resident is $2 and resident for fishing is $4. So a resident for sightseeing would still be $2. But if they have the discount card, it would go down to $1. Military and first responders right now is $1. I'm proposing that we give them a break. And if they have the discount card, it would be free. Non-residents would be $3. And again, 88% of the visitors are non-residents. If they were to get the discount card, it's $2, so it doesn't adversely affect the revenue there. And then the military personnel who are non-residents would be $2. And then without with the discount card, it would be $1. And then looking at the fishing right now, again, a resident is $4. With the discount card, we bring it down to $2. Military personnel will be $3. With the discount card, you bring it down to $2. Non-resident is $6. If they have the discount card, it's $4. So again, it's not adversely affecting finances, but it's still giving people a break. And then military non-residents are $4, and with the discount card is $3. So I think this is a fair breakdown that really doesn't adversely affect financially, but it also gives residents a break as well as military and first responders a break. And that's the fee schedule that I'm proposing.
Commissioner Shinesky, you got your light on next.
Sure, thank you. I think that the residents deserve special treatment. I think the residents, the citizens of Deerfield Beach deserve special treatment. I think they should have free access to the pier. I mean, we pay taxes. Our taxes go towards, towards the facilities. So I think they deserve special consideration because they are special. They're here, they grow, Deerfield Beach. Hopefully they work here, but they raise their families here, they spend here. So I believe that the residents, if you're a resident of Deerfield Beach, it should be free. I think if you're a sightseer, maybe raise it up to $3. And in fishing, I think they should raise it up to $5. I mean, the fishermen are using the facility. They're there for hours. So I think there should be an increase in the sightseers. A lot of those sightseers, and I've been watching, they hang out with the fishermen and they talk to them. So it's like a show for them. They're sightseeing. It's part of a day. So I think increase maybe $1 or so for the sightseers and increase another $1 for the fishermen. The other thing I want to bring up is I've been analyzing and talking to other cities, and some good ideas are, maybe have a fishing clinic where we could charge people, have experts in fishing, have a clinic where they could teach fishing technique and they could charge the participants. So that might be a very good way to get income. The other thing is maybe to have some sort of guided fishing expedition, to have local guides give fishing experiences, make it fun. So we could charge for that as well. I mean, so these are some of the suggestions I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Mayor Preston.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, you have to always look at that if you're taking away money, that creates a shortfall. So you said that annually we take in basically with sightseeing and fishing 235,000.
A little over 300,000.
Actually, over 300,000. So in a 5-year period, if we take that money away that could have been used for city projects, you're now talking over $1 million, way over $1 million. It's a lot of money that could help our community. I fish these piers. I fish our pier and I fish different piers. I don't fish Pompano as much as I used to, but I go to Juneau and I go to our pier and I go to Dania. Our prices are fair. Our prices are fair. So, I think my colleague, if I understood you right, you said that the fisherman with the discount is down to $2. It was confusing because it looked like it should be $3.
I think he said 2, but it was 3.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right.
The military discount.
Okay.
The resident is $4. With the discount card, it's $3. Non-residents, it's $6, but if they get the discount card, it's $4. So it's not even changing.
So, I kind of like where, like I said, because I look at this and I fish piers, our prices are fair. I think the discount thing does have some merit, though. If you're paying $3, that's you're not going to get. That's very cheap for fishermen, coming out to fish our pier. So I would be remiss if I didn't say that I think that we should kind of like just think about when you're taking money away, you're taking money away from a budget. How do we replace that? And you have to also look and see if your prices are fair in comparison to. And traveling around, our prices as they sit are fair and are more inclined to just, leave it like it is. I could entertain some more debate on the discount card fee. I think it has some merit some places, but I can tell you right now, fishing, $3, for a person with a discount card, that's really, really cheap. Don't know that is going to, again, be a good thing for our city. And like I said, when you're taking money away, where does that money made up? We don't have any way to make that up in a budget. So I think we just kind of like, when we look at this thing with the pier, those prices that are presently in place are fair. They are fair. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Plow?
Thank you, Mayor. I have some thoughts here. Number one, it's our pier. So I'd like the residents to get some type of discount. I'd like to put the Grow Deerfield Beach card off to the side just for a second. It's easier to think about the calculations like that. I do agree with Commissioner Hudak that I think we're undercharging for fishing. It should at least go up to $5. I mean, that's pretty reasonable to be able to fish all day or all night for $5. The other thing is, the fact that out of all the sightseers, okay, so that's all I want to say about fishing now. That should go up a little bit. I don't know about 7, but 5 or whatever. That would help make up for the sightseeing that we only have 12% of the residents that are actually coming out. So it shouldn't really hurt us too much to knock them down from $2 to $1 is what I'm thinking, and have the non-residents still pay $2. Okay, so I haven't discussed the Grow card yet, okay? So that's kind of a simple calculation there. The sightseeing for a resident will go from $2 down to $1. For the non-residents, it would stay at $2. The fishing could go up to $5, maybe $6 if this way I think we could keep most or all of the money by just adjusting the fishing a little bit. Now, I love the Grow Deerfield Beach card. I talk about it. I commend Michelle Kaba, our new economic director, for putting this together. I had a stack of them on my desk, but I've been handing them out. I've also made suggestions of who they contact. I've talked about it to some merchants when I've gone in there. I logged on it yesterday to see we have about 20 businesses on there. But when you think about it, the purpose of that card is what? Is for the businesses around town, not for us to make a little more money or lose a little more money. It's for the businesses, it's for the restaurants, for the stores, for the services and stuff like that. As much as I love that idea, and I don't see how it applies to the pier as much. It just kind of complicates the equation. I don't think that people will get the Grow Deerfield Beach card just so they can go to the pier. Maybe it entices them a little bit more, and then they have it in their pocket. They go to a store. But the bottom line is we're trying to grow businesses here, and I don't see it as applying to a pier admission as much. Maybe I can be convinced otherwise. But I would like to see the residents pay $1 to get on, and I like to see the fishing go up a little bit, and I could debate on those points. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hudak, before I call on you again, I want to just give my comments in case you want to jump in on those as well. If you could pull Commissioner Hudak's slide back up. My concern is this, that the pier is one of the greatest tourism destinations that we have in our city. People come to our city because of our pier, and we want to keep and maintain that as a pleasant experience, not only for the residents and the visitors that we have. It's a tourist attraction. It's people that come around And I want people to have a good experience when they come to Deerfield Beach, that they don't get caught up in red tape. And the problem that I have, I think this is extremely commendable and looks like you put a lot of time and effort and thought into it. But the problem is the person at the gate, how do they police and monitor this? I mean, are you a resident? Are you a not resident? I'm a resident, but I don't have my ID. I left it in the car. I'm coming to sightsee when I'm really going to fish. And so I think it's just really hard for the person who's there to monitor that, and then you're questioning the person who's there. Are you a resident? Are you not resident? It doesn't make their experience comfortable when they're here in Deerfield Beach. And then what if there's people behind them and there's a line while they're trying to figure out who's what and whatever? If you have a set standard fee that everybody pays, it makes the process more seamless. You're not trying to determine, am I a resident? Are they not a resident? I think it just makes it more complicated. And I want people that come to our pier to have the best experience possible. I want them to come back. I don't want them to say, hey, the person at the window was asking for where I lived and I didn't have my ID and they gave me a problem. I had to go back to my car. I just don't want that conversation out there in the universe. I want people to come here and say they had a great experience in the city of Deerfield Beach. So I don't know that scenario on the screen is workable on a day-to-day scenario. So I think the vice mayor had it right, is just leave it where it is. And I think it's much easier to monitor. I think when you come up to the window, you know that you're going to pay $2 to sightsee, whether you're a resident or not. And you're going to pay $4 to fish, whether you're a resident or not. And I think that makes it very smooth. I think it tailors to a good experience in Deerfield Beach. And I think it makes residents and visitors want to come back more, instead of potentially alienating them on a system that we may not be able to police and keep track of. So I really want the experience to be as seamless as possible for those. And I'm kind of leaning toward keeping it where it is, although this is very commendable. I'm kind of leaning towards the vice mayor just leaving it where it is. Commissioner, you still have your light on, Hudak?
Thank you. I had asked you, I think it was yesterday, the percentage of residents and non-residents that are fishermen.
We were unable to pull that because from the old fees, there was a differentiation between the resident and non-resident sightseer. There was no differentiation between the resident and non-resident fishermen. So we were unable to pull that.
Commissioner Shinesky brings up a point. As residents, we do pay taxes, and I do think that we deserve a discount to go onto our pier. Most cities, I would think, let their residents have some sort of a discount, whether it's like I said, this resident card. I don't know if it's an annual card that they purchase in order to get it, or just a discount in order to actually go sightseeing. Again, our residents are only 11% of the individuals that go on to the pier. The majority of the individuals are international or out of Deerfield Beach individuals. So I really think that we should consider, our residents, whether the residents pay $2 and non-residents pay $3, if you want to keep the $2 fee. But I really think that our residents do deserve a discount to go onto the pier. And I like the idea of the military and the first responders also, because of all that they do for us.
Vice Mayor, and then we'll go to the public comment.
Way back when we actually tried something like this to give some sort of a relief to the residents. Again, let me just say that as a person who is an avid fisherman, I travel and go and see these. Our prices are good. People know that they're fair, and I would be totally against raising the price for fishermen, totally against that. And the other thing is that the fishermen actually are the ones who suffered the most in whatever we've done on the pier. Number one, when they initially started the construction, there were supposed to be designated parking spots for fishermen. That went away because as the restaurant, population went up. They just kept taking the parking spots away from fishermen, where they end up having to just circle and circle and circle. Some people end up parking in the garage and you got to walk all the way over. But there was supposed to be initially parking right there in front for the fishermen. They've lost that. So I would be totally against raising the prices on fishermen. I'm going to just tell you that the structure that is presently in place is fair. $4 for fishermen, $2 for sightseers, that is fair. And if you take it away and you are now interrupting the budget that we have as far as what we do with that money, where does that shortfall, I mean, how do we make up for that? It would be something to really look at if we were in comparison to other cities where it does, we're just not in line as far as the price structure is concerned, but our prices are right in line. And I've been up at Juneau of people talking about the various things that we're talking about where they were going to eat lunch and that sort of thing. If you keep it fair, it will also not only benefit the pier, but it benefits the businesses, surrounding business. People come down, they eat lunch, they have dinner, that sort of thing. But it all has to be balanced. And if we keep it balanced, we're going to be okay.
Mayor, if I could, just one other point. Well, firstly, it sounds like you've worked at the pier before from your description. Because
You've been watching
that is
me, right?
definitely all the things we hear. The one area that the residents do benefit, and I didn't place this in my presentation because I know we were talking about just the daily entrance fee, but the commission approved as part of the fee schedule a 6-month or an annual pass. That's where the residents see the benefit. The non-resident fee is much higher than the resident fee for both the 6-month and so the frequent user would benefit as a resident. More so than the non-resident. So I just wanted to add that.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Shanetsky?
Yes. I mean, we need to attract people. We need to attract families, people to come to Deerfield Beach. The other cities, they charge. I mean, we have parks that are free. People come to our parks and they use it for free, and they use some of the physical fitness facilities in some of the parks. They're not being charged for that. We have people that this year we've had concerts, beautiful concerts in the various parks. Those were free concerts to benefit our citizens in Deerfield Beach. So I feel the pier, which is really the jewel of Deerfield Beach, the pier and the beach, it's something that I think the citizens of Deerfield Beach deserve, and they should have it for free. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Commissioner. So item 8 is a discussion and potential action item. So I can't open it to the public because they don't know what they're speaking on yet. So are we going to do a motion tonight, or are we going to consider and bring it back for the next meeting? Does anyone have a preference?
Yeah, I do. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go.
Vice Mayor?
There are times when we've had things that we've had in place as a discussion item. This is one of the things that I was saying before. I just think we really need to consider, one way or the other, if we have a discussion item, that whether we should open it up or not. When we had the Southeast 8th Avenue flood situation, it was my suggestion that we didn't open it up to the public, but we did. So I think that it would not be fair if we didn't open it up to the public and just to get a general feeling about how people think about this. I think that would be fair, with the idea that we've done it before. Okay, so we wouldn't be setting a precedent by allowing the public to weigh in on this. But I think that what we should do is, being that there is I don't think we should make a motion tonight. Let's just not do that. At least let's think about it a little bit. And then our next meeting, we can decide what we want to do. Do we want it to stay the same? Do we want to adopt some of these things? And then we can go from there.
I concur, Vice Mayor. I mean, this is labeled as a discussion and potential action item. This Southeast Eighth Avenue was a discussion only. So this one I would not want to open to the public until there's a motion on the floor because they don't know what they're commenting on. They don't know if they're commenting on the proposal we have now. They don't know if they're commenting on what suggestion until the actual motion is made. So I don't think we can open it. I don't think it'd be fair to the public to open it until they know what they're speaking about, what the details are. So your preference is to wait to the next meeting. Correct, Vice
Right,
Mayor?
right.
Okay. Commissioner Hudak?
I'm going to make a motion because we still need to hear the input from the public. So let's just keep it as it is then. I'll make a motion to keep it as 2 and 4.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so there's a motion to keep the rates at $2 for sightseeing, $2 flat dollars for sightseeing, $4 for fishing. Seconded by Vice Mayor Preston. Now we can open it to the public. Anyone like to speak on the motion that was made? Don't everyone rush? Mr. Slatter, are you stretching or coming down?
I'm coming down. So John Slattery, 1455. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of to your point. My first question is, what is the problem that we're solving for right now? I mean, that was a little confusing. So I appreciate that you guys actually had a candid conversation about this. You didn't already have your minds made up and prepared speeches about what your outcome was for this. So thank you for being open-minded. And by the way, we didn't elect you to make hard decisions. We elected you to hear us, represent us, and be our voices. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Slattery. Mr. Hers, you're next.
Dan Hers, 330 Southeast 19th Avenue. You know, I believe in fairness at all times. And if we're going to treat the people that come to the pier fairly, we should not charge them a penny. And the reason why I say we shouldn't charge them a penny is because I don't know how many people in the audience, and I don't know how many even of the commissioners that are sitting up here know that the restaurant that is right next to the pier currently is paying $0 in rent. Now, they should be paying $17,500 a month in rent, but the city gave the restaurant owner by the name of Danielle Rossi 9 months of free rent. So the city has lost out on $157,500 of rent. So if you're going to not collect rent, then please don't charge the people that use the pier. And also, you know, I learned in marketing 101 the concept of a loss leader. And that means you don't charge people to go to the pier because you want them to go and spend money at all the locations around the pier. It's the same concept that Publix uses when they discount the price of milk or eggs to get you to go inside there so that you will frequent the other businesses in the area. And I think the same concept can be applied here, and it can work very well. But please be fair. If you're not charging $157,500 in rent, then don't charge the people who are trying to use the pier. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cummings?
Joe Cummings, 267 Oak Ridge P. I agree with Commissioner Shinetsky. You know, I have season passes to Walt Disney World. And the reason why I can afford it is because I'm a Florida resident, and it's very simple. You show them the license plate, they give you the pass, and it's the reason why they do that is because they know Florida residents will go there year round, even during low or times that are off season. So when you have fishermen that go to the pier during the summer, they're still buying fishing gear from local vendors. They're still buying bait. They're still going out there. They're still paying the park. And, you know, it sustains things when things are lean. So and as far as proving whether, you know, you live in the city of Deerfield Beach, I remember, when I was a kid and I lost the ticket when I got on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And when I got to the toll plaza and I saw it blew out the window or some bird took it or whatever, I knew what I had to pay, and that was the highest number there. So if you don't have your license, you pay the highest number. It's that simple. So thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Cummings.
Good evening, Greg Havlish, 907 Southeast 13th Street. I was so excited to see this item on the agenda. I'm even more excited to hear Commissioner Shinetsky's comments because I agree. The pier should be 100% free for Deerfield Beach residents. So much so that one of the first FOIA requests that I put into the clerk's office was how much the pier cost and how much we make off it. My numbers go back to 2023, but I'd just like to share with you my findings from them. The total amount of collected revenue from sightseeing residents back in 23 was a little over $15,000. 15,000 bucks. What could we do with $15,000? We could make the pier free for every Deerfield Beach resident who wants to go out there and take a walk. Practically nothing. To your point, Vice Mayor, I understand if you're going to take money out of the budget, we have to find it somewhere else, right? Well, I looked at the operating expenses for the pier in fiscal year 23, and it was a little over $809,000. It's a big number. When we look at that number broken down, some of the highest costs are for salary. Now, I will be honest, I don't know exactly how the cost breakdowns for personnel at the pier work, whether it's just the folks that work in the bait shop or if it includes lifeguard salaries or whatnot. But that number came up to just shy of $300,000. I guarantee for that $300,000, we can find the operational know-how to make sure that we still have a good experience for both sightseers from Deerfield Beach and afar. Nobody owns the ocean. Nobody owns the beaches. I would love it if the pier were absolutely free for everybody, but I understand that's not a fiscal reality. But what we can do and what you should do is make the pier free for every Deerfield Beach resident who wants to go out there and take a walk. A couple of weeks ago, I had the good fortune of attending a Parks and Rec workshop and talking with one of the gentlemen there. Turns out it was Shane Cottrell, who owns Island Water Sports. And he said to me, business is booming. Great. Really? Why is that? Because the pier is free. People are coming to the pier because it doesn't cost anything. You go to Pompano Beach, where the pier costs nothing, and it's a booming hub of tourism and activity. We can have that here in Deerfield Beach too. I know we can't do it overnight, but at least for the residents, we can make sightseeing free. And I implore you to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go online. Jonathan Ungen. You could mute him, please.
Jonathan Ungi, 1938 Northeast 6th Street. Very happy that you made the motion. If you weren't going to allow public comment on this and kick it to the next time, I was going to be very disappointed and say, shame on you the next time I got a chance to speak. The reality is, this is called quality of life. It's not just called revenue generating for this municipality. We're taxpayers. Our taxes paid for this pier to be renovated. Sightseeing needs to be free, as Mr. Shinetsky, as Mr. Plout started to I believe, allude to. It's a disgrace that you're going to look at the quality of life of your residents taking a walk on the pier with, for instance, my 15-year-old child that I do almost every single day, that knows every one of those bait shop people, that puts a smile on every single one of those people's faces. I'm not paying anything. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move out of my home and I'm going to move next door to Boca Raton, where they appreciate their residents, where their taxes are low, where they're not looking to nickel and dime their residents over speed zone cameras, over using their amenities such as a pier. It's a disgrace that you're entertaining the idea that we should be looked at equally when we represent 12% of the sightseers. I can't believe this is even a discussion. It is a disgrace. Do better, Commission. Do better. Listen to Shinetsky. Listen to Plout. It should be $0, not with some card. And to Mr. Herz's point, you gave that restaurant the entire boardwalk. You put tables on both sides of it where there used to be benches. Stop selling out our city to private people and then taxing us harder. It's a disgrace. Thank you.
Thank you. Not sure where we're taxing anybody hard, but Beverly D'Amico, you're next.
Yes, Beverly D'Amico, 39 Tilford B, Deerfield Beach, Florida. I agree with Commissioner Shinetsky that the pier should be free. We are paying for it in taxes. And I live in Century Village in Deerfield, and you know, I think a lot of the people, we have 8,000 residents in this little community. And I'm sure if they knew that that pier was free and they could get access to go there, that it would be a nice increase in quality of life for them to get out in the fresh air, to see the area. And of course, it's going to help all the businesses there in the area too. You got to look at the marketing prospect of it and the benefit, the marketing for all the businesses. They need all the new business that they can get. So, and I do think, you know, if our neighboring cities have a free pier, why are we charging people for it, for the residents at least? I mean, you know, you want to charge if you want to put a couple bucks on for the visitors, I could understand that if it's reasonable. But if the piers are, there's no fee for Boca and for Pompano, then let's figure out what they're doing to compensate for that revenue. Thank you.
Thank you. Boca does not have a pier, by the way. Anyone else would like to speak? Madam Clerk, is anyone else online? Anyone else in the commission chamber that has not spoke before? Come on down, Mr. Khan, followed by Mr. Chansey.
James Kahn, 621 Northwest 46th Avenue. I love the pier, and I think that they did a fabulous job rebuilding. It's absolutely gorgeous. I didn't like what I saw on the sign. I think that if you walk out on the pier and you have a date or you're with your wife or husband, you just want to walk down there and take a look at the pelicans and look out at the water and walk back. And it really should be a couple bucks. So $1 a person would be more reasonable. People keep saying Pompano is free, but that's not what I'm seeing online. I went to Pompano. I paid to walk on the pier. I was with a veteran who didn't have to pay to fish. And I thought that was great. I don't think veterans should have to pay to fish on the pier. I think they should be free. And I think they should be able to walk out on the pier free. They've served the country. They come back, and we don't have a great track record with treating our veterans nicely in this country. So let's give them that benefit. And as far as the fees, I think the vice mayor is right. $4 is a good fee for fishing. They also have a package in Pompano for $27 where you get a fishing pole, you get some bait, you can walk out and fish as long as you want. So we might want to look at some packages where we can make additional money for people that may have come here from somewhere else that didn't bring a fishing pole, rather than charge it individually, give them a deal. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Mr. Chansey, you want to speak? Come on down.
Good old fishing pier. I gotta say the dress again or no? Good. I'm good on that dress, right? Yeah. All right. The fishing pier, I think, you know, looking at how Pompano operates, you know, it's something that we could take a look into. I know it's free when it comes to actually walking the pier, but I think they make up for it in parking, or at least in the tickets if you go over your meters, right? The bait, I believe they charge for bait or the pole, or not a pole, excuse me. The bait and the actual fishing. I don't know what their charge is, but maybe it could be comparable. If it's $5, we come at $4.99 or whatever, right? So to keep people coming, the I can't think of the name of their restaurant that's on the pier now, which is nice, by the way. I've gone there and ate with my family. They attract people, right? So by them coming and yeah, there's incentives to come and eventually get paid, and the city gets paid off with all of that. But I think if we can lure people in somehow, same way as Gmail and all these other companies come in free, but it spurs up the economy, local businesses, et cetera, right? I know the S-curve has been a big talk, so that's additional. So if the residents or the public come in and it's free, but we make the revenue other ways, then I think that'll help ease everybody, because not everybody's going to park, not everybody's going to go to the pier, but everybody would want to come to the beach. So that's my 2 cents. I hope that helps or what.
Thank you. Coming down to speak? Anyone else like to speak on item number 8? Okay, we're going to close the public hearing. Madam Clerk, no one online? We're going to close the public hearing on item number 8. Commissioner Plout, I saw you're late first.
Vice Mayor was up first. I'm doing a calculation.
Calling on you. You're up.
Okay.
I saw you're late first.
Okay. Well, I mean, I want to give the residents a break. I mean, it's only 12% of the residents. I also want to keep it simple. I would be totally for giving it that 12% for free. $2 for non-residents, but I really would like to make up the difference and just raise the fishing just $1. What's $5 to fish when you look at these other towns that are charging $7 to $14, $10, $5 in Juneau? It's just $1. I'm just for making it simple. I'm open for some kind of benefit for our veterans, that's for sure. But my thought process right now, whether we take a vote tonight or not, would be to have it free for the residents, $2 for non-residents and $5 for fishing. It's simple, it's easy to understand, and it's not real complicated. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Shinetsky?
Sure. Well, I thought we should table this for one reason. I liked staff. I'm not directing, but I like staff, if they can, find out how much it would cost or any type of similar programs to have like fishing clinics, because that would bring in money. I'm sure people who want to go out fishing, even tourists, would be very interested in having a fishing clinic with experts. And I'd like to know, what are some details? How much could we charge? What is some infrastructure on that? So if we could explore that idea, as well as explore a guided fishing expedition to see how much money we could take in from that. So, and that money could go directly for the maintenance of the piers. I think those are 2 tasks. I don't know how to phrase it. If we could maybe look into that research and have some answers by next commission meeting. So we have some hard numbers here.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Preston.
Thank you, Mayor. I think that, to give something back to the residents is not a bad idea. I think what the gentleman said about people of the military, free sightseeing, free fishing, I think that's fair. But I'm also tell you, when I first joined this fire department, there was only one station. That was the station on Federal Highway. As part of being a part of the fire department and for the appreciation that you do, all you had to do was go to the pier, show your badge. That's what I did. And you just go and you sightsee or whatever. Police officers put their life on the line equally. So do firefighters. Believe me when I tell you. And so, if we were going to extend something like that, I would like to see that that courtesy be granted to firefighters and police officers as well. And like I said, I know that part worked because years ago, all I did was show my badge. This is in 1974.
All you do, you show your badge and I was able to have access to the pier. Huh? Absolutely. Well, but if you're gonna do it, do not exclude police officers, do not exclude firefighters. Military people I see, absolutely. But firefighters and paramedics, absolutely. Police officers, absolutely. These are life safety people who put it on the line for everyone. And so I would be amenable to looking at something like that with perhaps a nominal fee for the residents of maybe $1 or something like that. But I do agree with my colleague. Maybe this deserves a bit more thought, that we could come back to something reasonable and that we all can agree on. Because that's a great point about our military. That's a great point. There's no reason for a military person to come out to the pier and have to pay a single dime, but neither should a firefighter or paramedic, and neither should a police officer.
Commissioner Hudak? Thank you, Vice Mayor.
I appreciate everybody's input and all the feedback and all of that. I'm going to go ahead and amend my motion. And then if we move forward, we move forward. If we don't, we table it till next time. Sightseeing for first responders, military and residents, $0, non-residents, $2, and fishing, $5. So that's what I'm going to amend my motion for. If there's a second, we vote. If there isn't, then we table it till next time.
Well, the second was Commissioner Vice Mayor Preston. So do you second the amended motion? Which was $0 for residents, first responders, and veterans,
I'm okay.
$2 for non-residents, and $5 for fishermen.
If my colleague could leave the fishing at $4, I will second it. But I will amend it. I will give it a second, but the fishing needs to be at $4.
Okay, fine. Fishing at $4.
Then I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor for $0. I don't know how we're ever going to police this. Good luck, Greg, but we're going to have $0 for residents, veterans, and first responders, $2 for visitors,
yeah.
non-residents, and $4 for fishermen. And that is seconded by you, Vice Mayor?
Yes, it is second.
Mr. Mayor, oh, you're gonna go to public comment? No, you already did that.
I
I just wanted to make a statement before. I just wanted to point out that the fee schedule was adopted previously by resolution. So we will need to bring back a resolution for you all to vote if there's going to be any change to the existing fee schedule at the next meeting. You know, we would do it based on the direction given tonight, but I just wanted to point out that we would need a reso to amend the prior fee schedule.
Would it help? Where's Greg? Where did he run off? Oh, he's right in front of me. Would it help for you to meet with us individually in the intervening 2 weeks to talk about what apparently is going to happen tonight, and then to let us know, because we're doing this on the fly, so you can let us know whether it's workable or not workable. And then I'd like to hear from economic development as well as to whether this is, bringing business or not bringing business. So I think there's some more factors in the intervening 2 weeks that deserve discussion, but to move this along, I think we need to do something tonight to move it along.
I do have what your motion was, and I can get with the city manager, and then he can coordinate whether we need to meet individually or determine.
Okay, and we have to bring it back for resolution anyway, so.
That's correct. That was the point I was making.
Okay,
Yes.
so,
Oh,
I just want to make sure that I got it. $0 for residents, first responders, and veterans with ID.
Yes.
$2 for regular visitors, any visitor or any of those classified visitors that don't have their ID, and $4 for all fishing.
okay. I don't see any more lights. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Hudak,
Yes.
Commissioner Plaut,
Yes.
Commissioner Shinetsky,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Preston,
Yes.
Mayor Drosky.
Yes. Okay. We're going to go backwards to comments by administration. Mr. City Manager, you were out of the room when we called on you earlier.
I apologize. I wanted to update the commission and the residents as well. We sent out a notice today to those that we have on our mailing list for the Southeast 8th Avenue Drainage project. That went out today. It'll also go out in the Bucky Graham later this week. So if you're not on the mailing list from those residents, then it should also be in the Bucky Graham. If you want to be on the mailing list and you're not, you can send that request into Web City Manager or to our Public Affairs Department, and pretty much any of our general emails, it'll get added to that mailing list. But just as a summary of that, we are in negotiations, two different negotiations. We have a third option that we're looking at too, for different solutions that are in the area that deal with utilizing additional space for capacity for water and also to increase drainage efficiency in the area. We took to heart a lot of the comments from residents. Particularly, we looked at some of the issues related to 6th and 7th that were brought to our attention by residents from those streets, as well as folks on 8th Avenue that pointed out some of the changes that they've seen over time with some of the other what were supposed to be mitigation efforts, but seem to have caused additional problems over in the 8th Avenue area, in addition to those on 6th and 7th. So we are in negotiations with a couple of different solutions for that. And if those come to fruition, they will come to this commission for ratification by you. And we also are looking at doing our own survey. We need some survey information out there by the residents. So we're asking that the residents in the area cooperate with the city's surveyors. We want to have a very precise and updated graphical description of the area to know exactly where the lowest of the spots are, the elevations, and how that's impacting drainage. We had a lot of comments on what's happening behind the houses, which was very different than what's happening in front of the houses, and we need to look at that. The additional information is in the newsletter that we sent out, or the notification we sent out, and we will be updating that. I anticipate probably next month coming to the commission with at least one of those negotiated proposals, and we're still working on the second one.
Anything else?
That's all.
Okay, thank you. We just did number 8, so we'll move on to comments by mayor and city commission. As tradition, District 1, Commissioner Hudak.
All right. Last week, Mayor Drosky, Commissioner Plowton, City Manager Brimlow, and Director of Community Services Salas and I attended Broward Days up in Tallahassee. For those of you who aren't aware, Broward Days is where city officials go, advocacy groups go to meet with state leaders to address, critical needs within the city and also to look for funding for various projects. The city of Deerfield Beach participated with a collaborative advocacy mindset focused on influencing state policy, strengthening regional partnerships, and advancing the city's economic and community development priorities. Those priorities, we had 3 key projects that we were looking for funding for. The first one was the Braithwaite Center for Active Aging. The second one was the Air Pavilion at Oviedo McKeithen Recreational Complex. And the third one was for the remodel of Fire Station 4. I can tell you that all the representatives were very, very positive in the meetings that I attended. And I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll be getting the funding that, we requested. Of course, you never know. Once the budget comes through, you never know if the governor will veto anything. But since I've been in office, I've been up there for the last 6-7 years now. And we've always had a very good response. And we don't hit 100%, but we got a pretty good batting average as far as the finances that we are requesting. There is a city charter. It was The Voice Shapes the Future. There's a public input session that's going to be on Wednesday, February 11th in the Tigner Center. And then Thursday, February 12th will be the findings and the recommendations looking at development for the Barrier Island. I guess the city's charter committee outsourced to ULI to just do a study and see what we can do as far as development on the island. So hopefully, residents will go ahead and participate in both of those events so we can see where we go forward with that. And then we also have, most of you I'm sure are aware, we have Pioneer Days Saturday, February 14th, and Sunday, February 15th. It'll be on the beach. So looking very, very forward to seeing everybody out there. And that's all I have.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner. District 3, Commissioner Shinetsky.
I think when it comes to public safety, when it comes to the safety of the citizens of Deerfield Beach, we haven't closed the barn. I think that was the comment made. We haven't left the barn when it comes to the safety of citizens in Deerfield Beach. One of the speakers has said many times in this public forum how 16 of the cities are on their own. They've never contracted with BSO. That's true, but he also conveniently left out that those 16 cities have always been on their own. Fort Lauderdale has been on their own since 1911. Pembroke Pines since 1960. Hollywood since 1925. They've always been on their own. They've always had an established budget. You know, it's already established. They've always had an established millage rate. They've always had both fire and police equipment. They never had to budget for it. They've always had the infrastructure. They never had to budget for it. So it's sort of apples and oranges. So it's non-existent. But out of these 16 cities, 2 cities have switched from BSO to their own police and fire department. 2 cities. The first city is Pembroke Park. Pembroke Park has a population of 6,000 people. Deerfield Beach has almost 88,000 people. Southwest Ranch has a population of 8,000 people. Deerfield Beach has 88,000 people. Century Village East, where I've been living for 25 years, has a population during season of 16,000 people. And I want to bring out, in doing research, both these cities, Pembroke Park and Southwest Ranch, they couldn't survive on their own, having their own police and fire. They had to merge. They had to ask for help, and they had to merge with other regional police and fire. So it wasn't a success. The other thing that was conveniently left out was, the assessment fees. I mean, in doing research, and I've contacted a lot of these cities and done research, their assessment fees are double what Deerfield Beach has. Deerfield Beach, we raised it from like $311 to $360. These cities that have their own police and fire, they're double there. Fort Lauderdale has assessment fees of $700. That means that affects our pocketbooks, residents. We're going to be hit almost, according to these cities, almost double what we're paying right now. So that's going to hit us in the pocketbook. My constituents want to know, and this is coming from my constituents, and I have been going door to door, and I've been speaking to my constituents. I just went January 27th. There was a cancer dance in the clubhouse in Century Village, and I spoke to people. On the Sunday before that, I did a 3-mile race in Century Village, a 3-mile race to benefit Jacob's Shoes. And I talked to people. That CPR class that we had last week, there was, about 30 citizens there, Century Village residents. So I talked to people, and they have questions. They have legitimate questions. We're here to represent, be their voices. So these are the questions. I mean, if we go in-house, will it be affordable? I think that's a legitimate question. We need to answer that. How are we going to pay for these services if we have our own police, and especially fire? I mean, I've looked through those 147 pages or whatever. I don't see that. I don't see a plan on how we will pay for these services. And that's a legitimate question. Yes, we own our own engines, but that's all. Yes, we have the infrastructure of 4 fire stations and 1 trailer, but that's it. It's just bare structure. The accessories which make up the fire, especially the fire and the first responder, the life-saving equipment, we don't own that. How are we going to pay for that? The training, the mandatory certification. I mean, I really believe in all my heart that the public demands and needs to know these figures in black and white. So what I'm asking is this, I'm asking, I know we've been told that, we have the figures, the CFO, the Director of Public Safety has these figures. Share it with the public, be transparent, because I want to know, how are we going to pay for this? I know there was a statement made that, well, we could always merge with Pompano Beach with their fire. Well, there's studies coming out February 24th. So what I'm asking is, could the Director of Public Safety or the Chief Financial Officer of Deerfield Beach, could they share how are we going to pay for these services? Are we going to take loans? Are we going to do bonds? I mean, do we have enough money? I think that's a legitimate question that we really need to be answered. And then if they're answered, then I'm satisfied. Let's move forward full tilt. But I think we need to know that, because I really can't answer those questions. And my constituents ask me that, and I can't answer them. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't feel it's fair to our citizens to leave them hanging. So what I'm asking is, I don't know how to say it. I don't want to make a demand, because then I get into trouble. I get in the principal's office. I just want to know, can the CFO, can the Director of Public Safety give us a briefing on how we will pay for these services and flesh it out a little bit? Because I was not satisfied with that 12-page report. That's all I'm asking.
So I'm going to jump in. So Commissioner, we're not going to hide anything in this process from the public. We want to be as transparent as possible. I've been speaking. I was going to mention during my comments, but I'll jump in now with the city manager that we should have an update on every single agenda from now until however long it takes to discuss what has happened in the intervening 2 weeks between commission meetings, whether you've applied for this or that, and to answer the questions that the commissioners have. I think that is something starting the next meeting that we need to have regularly. And if Commissioner Shinetsky has questions regarding funding and other questions, that those need to be answered, and not just to him, but out in the public like this. And City Manager, you and I have already started that discussion. So that's something that I hope that you'll commit to because the residents deserve, we're going to do this out in the public, in the sunshine for everyone to see and to be transparent as we go forward. Did you want to jump in, Mr. City Manager?
I think it would be more transparent to do it at the commission meetings than to try and do individual, because someone may have a question that another commissioner has or that would subsequently come up. It also allows the public to hear those questions and answers real time. But we can also receive questions from any member of the dais and try to include that in whatever presentation we do. But we can start that on the very next commission meeting.
So I'd highly recommend, Commissioner, whatever questions you have, submit them to the city manager for the next meeting to include in his presentation. Excellent, thank you. Do you have other comments?
No, sir. Again, we had a free CPR class in Century Village. I want to say thank you to the staff. They helped arrange that. We used the West Deerfield Beach Community Center. It was almost standing room only. And this is very important because in Century Village, there's been some fatalities and people don't know what to do. And by the time response comes, it's almost too late. So I want to say thank you very much to the city manager, to the staff for letting us, and also the Director of Parks for letting us use the facility, and also to the fire chief. Thank you very much, Bradley Masters, for it's gonna save people's lives, and that's very, very important. Again, the January 27th Cancer Dance at Century Village Clubhouse, which was a huge success. That money's going for cancer research. Tomorrow, February 4th, I'm going to the Century Village Italian dinner, so I'm going there. Also, this is very interesting. A lot of times we don't talk about advisory committees. We have the Deerfield Beach Education Advisory Committee. One of my constituents went up to me and says, you know what, they had been a teacher for many years in New York City, and they found that a simple game of Scrabble have really helped the students. So I invited him to address tomorrow the Deerfield Beach Education Advisory Committee to talk about that, to maybe outreach game of Scrabble And this might be, a success story that could help a lot of our students. And again, I participated in a 3-mile race. Took me an hour. I'm sorry, man. I remember when I could do it in like, what, 20 minutes? I'm sorry. As I get older, I get slower, but I'm like a tortoise. I made it through. It was a 3-mile race, went around Century Village. I completed it. And that goes towards Jacob's Shoes, which is free shoes for children. So I was very proud to be that. We had a good turnout. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Plout, District 4.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to say that I was very happy to accompany the mayor and Commissioner District 1, Mr. Hudak. Commissioner Hudak, up to Broward Days in Tallahassee. If anybody read my campaign literature, one of the things that I said when I was running for office was that I wanted to try to bring home federal and state money to help our city. And that's exactly what we were doing up there. And I have to say that Mr. Jonathan Salas is one incredible, he's a director of community services. He is one sharp individual. I left it upstairs. I wish I didn't, but it's one thing to go into a senator or a state representative's office with a list of things that you would like to have appropriated. In other words, paid for. You're up there literally begging for money. But it's so clear what we are asking money for, because Mr. Salas put together the most beautiful color brochure, my thick stock, just a professional booklet that as we walked into each office, he was able to give that booklet, and the look on a senator or a representative's face when they saw that book, like, wow, this is really impressive. So tell me, what is it, And just to have everything in bullet points, And I had read that book 2 or 3 times, and we had so many people to see. Sometimes we had to divide up and go see. Now, you really don't want to know how to get around the new Capitol building, the 22 stories. It's kind of like a mouse maze. I won't say rats. Okay, it's kind of like a mouse maze. So it's wonderful that we had the Rubin and Turnbull group, which is a registered lobbyist, I believe, with the city of Deerfield Beach, and they met us and they showed us which elevators to get on and where to go and all, and we divided up. And so I met a couple of the people by myself, and I had memorized immediately that one of the things that we were asking money for was the cover over the basketball court, that was on page 15. And I would give it to them. They would comment how beautiful this brochure looked. And I'd say, let's start on page 15. And they would open it up, and there's beautiful picture of where we want to put a cover on this basketball court and from a drone. I mean, all the pictures professionally done with drones. You could see exactly where it was and make up next to it that showed the area. And we had the talking points all laid out for us, that this is not only something for this area of the city, but we actually use this for COVID response. So people from all over Broward County came there for their COVID shots a few years ago. And there were some people that actually passed out in the cars because it was so hot. There was no cover. This cover would provide shade. It would cool off the temperatures. Also, it would prevent the pooling if it rained during the summertime and all that. So, Mr. Salas, my hat's off to you. He doesn't like to brag, but so far, he has told me that he's been 100% successful in other trips asking for funding. So I'm hoping you're on a streak there. And I bet you are, because it was quite impressive how all this was put together. I'm so excited next month to try to do the same thing with the federal government. We're going to take a trip to Washington, D.C. So I'm not afraid to go out of town and try to do these things. It's a life-changing experience to see just how professional that this city is, how great these department people are, that we have and how focused that they are, the work that their staff does to do the paperwork for all these grants that we're trying to get presented with this professional booklet. And it's just a matter of them going back and signing a piece of paper to get it. So I'm very confident, just as everyone else is here, that we're going to get this thing done. And Commissioner Shinesky, since you mentioned the 3 mile deal, I did the Dunn's Run, but I did the Dunn's Walk. Okay.
all right.
I did the 5K and it took me an hour and 10 minutes. Okay. But I walked it, you know, it was really great. So I felt good about that. And it's been really some cold weather. In fact, yesterday, and I'll just get off of what I've been saying and say this. The new museum, the mods that we've got going up over here that's going to open in the next couple of months, folks, this is one fabulous place. When we got the the monthly CRA report from our fabulous CRA director, Michael Chen, last week, the 12 pages I read, looked at the pictures of the, you know, what's, you know, how close we are to opening this place up. I called him right after I read that, and he was able to make some time for me. And yesterday I met him at 11 o'clock in the morning. It was still pretty cold out, but I got a coat. So we went out and we met the folks that were in charge of the construction there, and they gave me a tour. And this is a fabulous place. I'm so happy about what I saw. You know, the funny thing is, we're starting on the bottom floor. The elevators aren't in yet, but you go through the parking lot and you go inside and you see all the cubicles because our staff is going to be there and the mod staff is going to be there in the different offices. And it gives an impression that, oh, geez, this is kind of small. But then when you go upstairs and realize that the museum spans all the way from east to west. It's huge in there. The ceilings are tall. The area is big. I got a rundown on where the aquarium tanks are going to go, what the displays are going to look like. It was an exciting thing. I suggest that you give Michael Chen a call and he'll run you through there now before we finish it. It's really, really something. I'm glad that the city, the previous administration here, stepped up to be able to do this. There's more grant money, I understand, coming in to make up for the shortfalls. This will be a profitable center. And when it is teamed up with the Guy Harvey mural that's going to be on that building, and all we're paying is about $4,000 for installation. He's going to make a mural for us. It is going to match, not the same graphic, but it's going to give the overall theme that we already have, where our Cottrell Center down on the beach already has a Guy Harvey mural there. There's going to be Guy Harvey murals, I understand, on Deerfield Island. So that whole area has a brand now. And the one thing that we've heard is, you know, we'll pay attention to Deerfield Beach when Deerfield Beach figures out what it wants to be. You're watching, folks. You're watching the brand right now that's developing here in Deerfield Beach. People will not only go to this museum, but they'll jump on a boat and they'll go over to the Deerfield Island. They'll visit the Cove. They'll go to the restaurants. The schools will bring children there. This is going to be extremely profitable. It's going to put us on the map even more. I'm just really excited about it. If you want to get excited about it, you should go and see what I saw yesterday. So I want to thank Mr. Chen for making the time to have me over there. And with that, Mayor, I'll turn my time back over to you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, District 2.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. City Manager, the decorative lights that the city installed on MLK, they're all out. So that needs attention. There will be a District 2 meeting on the 19th of this month, 7 p.m. over at the Hillsborough Technology Center. And so I'm going to have city staff explain a lot of the things that is happening and explain this transition with BSO as well. Answer your questions. I was on the negative side of this vote last week. And it was very tough because I advocated for the 2 years because I thought that that was the right thing. But let me tell you, I've moved on. There was a vote by my colleagues, and this is the direction in which we're going. Let me just say to all of you, this is a time for our city to come together. We must not let a vote tear us apart because there's a danger, an inherent danger in doing that. Once we become isolated, we become weak in many, many ways. Oh, okay, I lost. I was on the negative side of that vote. And there are people that have said to me, well, now we don't have any options. We're going to have a lot of options because things are going to be coming in front of us that we're going to have to decide on. We're going to have to debate it. But here's one thing that's not an option. It's not an option to root against your city. There's not an option. It's not an option for me to say because I was on the negative side of the vote, I hope they fail. Just so I can say, I told you so. That's no good. We are a city. There are people that live in this city who believe in what we are all about in the city of Deerfield Beach. If I don't root for the success of this, because the city manager and staff and my colleagues have said we trust that, we're then all obligated to root for the success of that. Now, if I don't root for the success of it, that means I'm rooting for its failure. And I'm not going to do that. So let's get that understood. I'm not going to do that. But if I root for failure, that means you, the resident, I'm rooting against you. And I'm not going to do it. So hopefully what will happen is that you will now remember also your personal human values that you say you believe in, and also your Christian values. Isn't it funny that I can talk about who God is in my life, but when one thing goes against Ben Preston, he can't live with it. And everything goes out of the window, and I'm not going to do that. I have values. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ as my personal savior, and it is now for me to root for the success of this. I have to trust my colleagues. I'm going to do that. And I have already told the city manager, if there's something that I can do to help, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to root for them to fail. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. It's not right to do. And it's important for us to remember that all of us have a stake in this, okay? And so if we do it together, it's going to be a lot better. And I'm hoping that staff, I'm going to say this to the city manager, if you should come before the commission and say, you know what, we need to readjust. It shouldn't be a moment at which we point a finger to say, yeah, I knew this was going to happen. We're in this together. We have a great city, but more than anything, we have to think about the human beings that we are, because these little things can just tear us apart. And once we're torn apart, I don't know that there is any social Scotch tape that can put it back together where it's like it should be. It's very difficult to do that because emotions are frayed, attitudes are isolated, and it's difficult to find our way back on the same page. The city of Deerfield Beach gave Ben Preston many, many years ago an opportunity to make something of himself. I will always say thank you to the city of Deerfield Beach, and I will always root for its success, even when I don't agree with decisions that I made. I really wish that it was different. It's not. We're all incumbent right now to lift up our city. And you know what? You can't do it if you're not humble. If you're pissed off because it didn't go your way, you will root for its failure. And I'm telling you, that's dangerous. So I won't gonna do it. I wish this decision had gone my way. I wish it was a bit different. It is not. But I'm not gonna give up on Deerfield. I'm not gonna give up on its residents, because the residents is depending upon all of us, my colleagues, to do things in their best interest. And so that means that all of us have to say that it's okay for me to suffer a little bit more, because the residents must come first. They don't want me to be pissed off. They don't want me to be upset. They want me to be clear-minded, get past my pride, get past my arrogance, whatever, to make the best decision for them and their families. And I'm going to do that. I'm committed to doing that. So, you know, like I said, I've moved on. I've moved on. I'm hoping that however this transition takes place, that it's not as strenuous as I think that it could be. I hope that I say in the end, you know what? It's not like I thought, because that means there won't be any pain to the resident. It's not about any of us that sits up here. It's about the residents. They put us in these seats, and that's why the seat doesn't belong to us. It's not about power. What it's about is service. In order for me to be a good servant, I have to be humble. And when the humility is there, then I can actually serve in a way that I need to serve. So, staff, Mr. City Manager, if I can help, pick up the phone and call me, and I'm going to do that. And again, please remember, there's a District 2 meeting on the 19th, 7 p.m., Hillsborough Technology Center. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. You know, we heard a lot tonight on the public safety issue of why we can't do it, why we won't succeed. That was the vast majority of the comments that we had tonight. I mean, I took good notes from everyone that spoke tonight and their comments and their viewpoints. And there was a lot of gloom and doom. But I'm with the Vice Mayor. The Deerfield Beach that I know, that I grew up in, we can do this. We will do this. There are many people out there that are willing to help. There are many people out there rooting for us. There are many people out there that want this. They want their local control. They want us to seize the opportunity to have control over our budget again. I'm not going to look at the negative side of this. I'm going to look at the positive, that we can do this. If we think that Deerfield Beach is great as residents, and we all come up here and we all come to the dais and we all preach it here from the dais, and we all say how great Deerfield Beach is, well, then let's practice what we preach. If Deerfield Beach's best days are ahead, then let's do it. Let's look forward and grab and seize those best days that are ahead of us. This is an opportunity that was given to us, and we cannot fail, because it's for the residents that we're fighting for. This is an opportunity that was given to us that we have to continue to seize. I'm not going to look at the negative. I know what this city is capable of. I know what my colleagues are capable of. They have made some very bold decisions, and we have made great progress in this city, not just in the time that I've been here, but before that. And so we deserve to the residents to give them this opportunity to show what Deerfield Beach is made of, that this is something that is in our DNA, and we're going to be doing our hardest to make it succeed. And we want you to be proud of, not us, we don't care about us, but we want you to be proud of the men and women that are going to be in these roles. Those are the ones that we need to be supporting, because they're going to be fighting for you every day when they wake up, not knowing if they're coming home every night. So it is that important that we cannot fail. And with your help and your encouragement and your positivity, we will make this work. If you want to be negative, that's fine. That's what social media is for. But for the vast majority of us here in this city, we're going to make this work. We're going to fight hard, and we're going to make this an opportunity that everyone is going to make a success. Will there be stumbles along the way? I'm sure there will. This is a Herculean effort, but we're going to learn from those challenges and move forward, and we're going to be better for it at the end. I have two other things that I just want to mention, and one is this past Saturday, I want to thank Sustainable Management Department for hosting the beach cleanup. There were 205 volunteers that showed up this past Saturday with 240 pounds of debris. That's a little over a pound per person. Now, when you think about it, what you're picking up out there, the vast majority continues to be cigarette butts out there, and wrappers, packaging wrappers from food and drinks and everything like that. That's the majority of the debris that was picked up. So think about how many cigarette butts and wrappers you have to pick up to get to a pound per person. That's a lot. But our beach looks absolutely fantastic, and all the volunteers that came out, there were over 50 high school students from Monarch High that came out that participated that morning. It was cool, but it was a good, cool weather-wise. It was good to get out there and to pick up on our beach and to give back to the community. That's what I'm talking about. If we're invested in Deerfield Beach, then we give back to Deerfield Beach. And that's what all of our responsibility is as we go forward. There is one bill I want to make my colleagues aware of that's under the radar in the Florida legislature, and that is sovereign immunity. The cap is 200,000. Is that right, Mr. City Attorney?
200,000 per person, 300,000 per incident. Yes, sir.
Correct. 200,000, 300,000. One of the proposals is to amend that to $1 million. That would be a big hit to budgets, municipal and county budgets as we go forward. So everyone's concentrated on the property tax issue as well. You should be. But if the sovereign immunity goes through as well, that's going to be another big budget buster for the cities as well to contemplate as we go forward. So keep an eye on that. Send emails and call your local legislators as well, that this is something that is not getting as much attention, but is going to have probably as much, if not more, of an impact on city and county budgets as we go forward. So we'll continue to give you updates through the session. We're not even halfway through, but we want to make sure that I just want to make sure that the residents are aware that there are issues other than property tax that are pending in the Florida legislature right now. And with that, I don't have anything further and entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor, second by Commissioner Hudak. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?